A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the one who acts with mercy, the source of mercy. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings to everyone. I am Fakhri. I am your Master of Ceremonies for today, and it is a pleasure to guide you through this transformative workshop focused on cultivating calm, offering practical techniques and insights inspired by the Sufi tradition. This event is presented by the Ansari Qadiri Rifai Tariqa, or also known as AQRT, in collaboration with Ansaria Holistic Healing Institute, also known as AHI, AHHI. We are delighted to have you join us as we explore ways to nurture inner balance, strengthen the heart, and bring greater clarity, peace, and resilience into your daily life. We will start with the recital of Surah Fatiha to open today's proceedings. I call on Wakil Riza and Wakila Nazima to do the opening.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Medatin destur ya Allah, ya Rasulullah, destur ya Ahli Bayt Rasulullah, destur ya Safati Rasulullah, destur ya Ali Waliullah, destur ya Imam Hassan, destur ya Imam Hussein, destur ya Abdul Qadir Gilani, destur ya Ahmed Rifai, destur ya Abdullah Hashimi, destur ya Muhammad Ansari, destur ya Muhyiddin Ansari, destur ya Tanar Ansari and Muzayn Ansari, destur ya Nishad Siddiqui. بركة بركة في الهدرة، بركة بركة في الهدرة. الفاتحة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين.
In the name of Allah, the one who acts with mercy, the source of mercy. All gratitude and praise belong to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the one who acts with mercy, the source of mercy, the owner of the dominion on Judgment Day. We connect and devote ourselves to you, Ya Rab, and we ask for your help. Guide us to the confirmed and sure path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not of those who deserve your wrath, nor of those who misguide themselves. Amen. Shukr.
Shukran for that. So we just have a few house rules to announce. Please mute your cell phones. Keep an open mind. Enjoy the process and actively participate. It is an interactive workshop, so you are welcome to interact. Bathrooms are at the back. As we entered, there's some bathrooms on that side if you need a break. A warm welcome to everyone today, whether you're returning to our workshops or visiting for the first time. We're grateful to have you here as we embark on this journey to restore inner balance, strengthen the heart, and live with greater clarity, calm, and peace. Before we begin, let's take a moment to settle into this space. So I'm going to ask you to kindly close your eyes, if you are comfortable to do that. Take in a deep breath, hold the breath, and slowly release the breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your mind soften. And let your heart open to today's experience of calm and clarity. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment, letting go of distractions and tuning into the intention of this workshop. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. So on your table in front of you, there's a little pack there. You're welcome to take some notes. There should be a notepad and a pen. There's also a little package there you can see with a oyster shell in it. Don't open that yet. We're going to open that later on in the workshop. There's a specific purpose for that gift. I'm just going to take a moment to read the disclaimer. So all opinions expressed by the presenters are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of AHI. The content here is for informational purposes only, and because each person is unique, please consult a healthcare professional for any health-related questions. We have an incredible lineup of speakers who are experts in their respective fields and who are dedicated to helping all of us deepen our sense of calm, clarity, and inner balance. We are honored to hear from Murshida Sheikha Muzayin Ansari, our keynote speaker and Sufi healer. Our special guest from Turkey, Mrs. Fethia Abla Ruzgar, also a Sufi healer, and the sister of Murshid Sheikh Taner Ansari. And we also have Mr. Riaz Salka, a complementary health practitioner. As part of today's program, we will also be introduced to the core principles behind cultivating calm and the practical tools that support emotional regulation and holistic well-being. We have a prize draw right at the end of today's workshop, so don't go anywhere. Your chance to win could just be around the corner. Your welcome pack, you'll see there's a number on there. That is your number for the competition draw. So the Qadiri Rifai Ansari Tariqa, or AQRT, is a traditional Islamic Sufi order rooted in the culture of welcoming inclusiveness. We are dedicated to fostering love, peace, and togetherness for the greater good of humanity. AQRT South Africa is affiliated with AQRT International, currently led by Sheikha Muzayin. Please visit aqrtsufi.org for more information. To address the holistic needs of individuals, the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute was established. AHI provides a spiritually grounded environment for healing, bridging Sufi-based spiritual techniques and modern holistic healthcare. AHI offers healing consultations as well as healing courses and training. Please visit ansarihealing.com for more information. I will now hand over to Saida, who will introduce and provide an overview of Ansari Holistic Healing.
Assalamu alaikum. The Ansari Holistic Healing Institute, also known as AHI, doesn't just heal individuals. It empowers healers from all walks of life to embrace the essence of holistic well-being. Through Sufi practices, Quranic verses, and the divine names of Allah, AHI reminds us that healing is a sacred act. one that integrates the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of our lives, while strengthening our connection to the source of healing, that is Al-Shafi. AHI's mission is to create a nurturing space for healers, fostering a community of wellness through the profound teachings of Sufi healing. AHI aims to bridge the gap between Western and holistic healthcare to emphasize affordability and accessibility, ensuring that holistic healing is within reach of everyone. To provide education through online courses and workshops for both the general public and practitioners, and to lead the way in holistic healthcare globally. At AHI, healing is viewed as a tapestry of interconnected elements: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. When one of these is out of balance, it affects our overall well-being. AHI courses are designed not just to teach techniques, but to deepen our understanding of what it means to truly heal. If you are looking to restore balance and improve the quality of your life, the beginner's course to Ansari Holistic Healing is a fantastic place to start. This course is all about helping you understand how different healing methods can support every dimension of your life. You'll learn about human anatomy, common illnesses, and a variety of healing techniques, from Western medicine to things like acupuncture and nutritional healing. Additionally, you'll dive into Sufi healing, which combines traditional wisdom with modern practices to address both physical and spiritual needs. If you have any questions or want to know more, feel free to reach out. Enroll in this course to gain knowledge and join a global community dedicated to promoting wellness and empowering others. AHI offers services such as spiritual and metaphysical healing, including emotional and mental wellness, cutting-edge therapies like Rife frequency therapies, and core informational healing. AHI also offers practical tools like the Sufi Resonator, a groundbreaking product harmonizing Quranic verses and Allah's beautiful names. You have the opportunity to experience the Rife Resonator today. If you look to the back of the hall, we have a table with Ansari Sustainable Living where the Rife machine is set up. AHI's commitment extends to education, training, products, and publications, fostering a global community of healers who are as diverse as the people they serve. So, as you embark on your journey with AHI, remember, it is not just about learning, it's about transformation, balance, and becoming a beacon of healing in a world that needs it now more than ever. Shukran.
Thank you, Saida. Just going through the slides. There's some of the services of AHI. And some of the products that Saida spoke about. So through this session, we'll explore practical Sufi-based techniques alongside other holistic, heart-centered exercises, including ways to reconnect with nature to restore balance and clarity. These practices are designed to help you navigate emotional overwhelm, maintain inner balance, inner peace, and build a stronger, steadier presence in everyday life. With that intention set, it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Murshida Sheikha Muzayin, a traditional Sufi healer who will guide us deeper into the topic, how to cultivate calm when I feel what others are feeling. Murshida Sheikha Muzayin is a traditional Sufi healer and teacher She specializes in emotional healing, allergy relief, and entity removal. She offers both in-person and online programs. Murshida has led a team of specialists with dedication and expertise in the program as a program director for Sheikh Tanir Ansari's Quran translation project and all his other books. Sheikh Muzain is committed to sharing her knowledge and experience to establish holistic healing clinics and to train practitioners worldwide. Warm welcome to Sheikha.
Assalamu alaikum. No, we are not going to do that. Thank you. I am going to, if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to old friends and new. I see some of you the first time. And inshallah, today we are going to talk about how to create calm in your own self and also around you. And the first thing that I would like us to, thank you, I would like us to experience is the difference it makes for us to step into intentional space. When we are going through, when we are going through life, we are exposed to everything and everyone and every kind of energy out there. However, when we come home or when we come to work, things are a bit more in our control. So as Sufis, what we are suggesting is you at least exist intentionally in your own spaces. And one of the steps for this is clearing your space with Ayatul Kursi. And we also talk about this in the healing book on how to get your healing space ready. So I am going to ask you now to please feel the space around you. Just extend your senses and see how it feels. It feels a little bit maybe humid, maybe a little bit hot. Now, I will do space clearing, and I would love you to please learn this with Ayatul Kursi. So we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and we start from the right. As soon as you get in from the door, maybe I just go over there real quick. Oh, but you don't even actually have to go over there. You can just stand here and then just go over even in your mind. So you get in through the door. Let's say this is the door. I'm getting in and I'm going to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and I start from right and I just keep going through reciting Ayatul Kursi, and when I get to any opening, whether it's a door, electrical outlet, air conditioner, anything like that, and then I will exit out. Now I will do that and see what happens. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm going to start from where Hamida is, I think. Okay, that's Hamida. Really wave to her. She helped you register, the nice lady. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum la ta'khuzuhu. I'm closing this door because we're not going to use that space. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum la ta'khuzuhu sinatun wa la nawm lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard man zal ladzi yashfa'u indahu illa bi iznihi ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم صدق الله العظيم. So the ceiling and the floor. I always forget to say this, but you shouldn't forget this. So how are you feeling now? Anybody who's feeling a little bit cooler? There's always somebody lifting their hands up. So this is what happens. And we can do this for ourselves to create a sacred, safe space for ourselves all the time. So, subject of this workshop is how to cultivate calm when I feel what others are feeling. We pick our workshop subjects from what you tell us. Last year it was about ADHD, and we did our online seminar about that we do an annual one. This one was, especially after COVID, I was approached by many of you and said, I am feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling what other people are feeling. I just want to stay home. I don't want to go to family weddings, which is a disaster, as you know, in your community, because some people are going to 5 weddings, all for the same person. I don't know how this is happening, but there you are. So they said, I want to just stay home and stay by myself. I cannot handle being around all the people anymore. Especially after COVID, our social muscle just shrunk a lot more. Well, we are not supposed to be like that. We all need each other. This is how Allah created us. And actually, the silver lining in that was many people realize that they are feeling what other people are feeling. They have gotten to see, they have that awareness, but at the same time they found this overwhelming. So what do we do about that? You know, we are Sufis, so what are we going to tell you? Here are some prayers, and here are some techniques, and here are some physical ways Riaz is going to walk us through that we have used constantly that will, inshallah, help you. And we had really good feedback, and so please try these, and then just write to me, let us know. So, this is highly sensitive people. This is the subject of today. What we have to understand and have to have the mind shift to go forward is being highly sensitive, having strong empathy is not a curse. We just don't know how to make it work for us. It has its own place. It's a gift. It's an extra ability that Allah Ta'ala has blessed us with. Highly sensitive people, I am proposing, are the healers of our world. They hold social connection, and many of them also go into healing. So if you are feeling very sensitive to other people's feelings, and when you get into a space you're like, oh, I didn't like this space, I am encouraging you to please go into healing and see what talents will resurface for you. This one, being highly sensitive, is not a burden. Why am I saying that? I am saying that because you have a purpose. You were created like this because you have a purpose and place in the world, and you have something to do to contribute to the world. So that goes through self-discovery, and we will talk a little bit about that today, inshallah. And one thing we have to really pay attention to is that empathetic people, highly sensitive people, our boundaries are a bit, I shouldn't use the word weaker, but porous, more porous than somebody else. And we know those people, their boundaries are very strong, and they don't seem to be as affected by other things. And I'll watch a horror movie, I won't be able to sleep, but they're just fine. And so think like that. Your boundaries are a bit more porous. This works wonderful in some situations, many situations, and also there are other places it does not work for us. For example, when we are in the crowds. So this one is going to be about what to do when you feel everything is crowding you. All right, number one, mindset. I am asking you to please have an open mind about is sympathy versus empathy versus compassionate boundaries. This is probably the only academic, not academic, but only word part of it. So let's make this distinction. Sympathy is you are you, I am me. What am I saying? You are there with care and understanding for the person. You focus on listening and supporting. You are not merging. Remember the porous boundaries, especially when our heart just flows into somebody's pain and all that. That's not sympathy, that's empathy. So this one is focused on listening and supporting, not merging or fixing a situation, especially when the person is not asking for it. Maybe they just need somebody to listen. And this one, sympathy, comes with respecting the other person's journey. They're going through something and they need to learn something from this journey. Obviously, I'm not talking about somebody being hungry. You understand. Empathy is feeling with the other person, entering into their emotional space. So this is what happens with highly sensitive people. One of the things is that you're suddenly part of their life, part of their problem. You think, I'm going to get a second job and give my money to them. It might sound funny, but I know people like this. It's like, if I just could just help them. You become even part of their budget. And healthy empathy allows understanding without losing balance. And we can put these into the group for you if you're worried about taking notes. All right, now our problem part. Over-empathy versus compassionate boundaries. Over-empathy is the boundary challenge that we face, and this is what we must keep in mind when we are going through life. Boundary challenge. So you could say that HSP people, highly sensitive people, are boundarily challenged people, but that's just another category. It does not work the same way for everyone. So we shall see how it applies to you. Over-empathy is when love and care are overextended. You take on others' pain or emotions. This can happen even within the family or outside of the family. This can lead to, how do you know you have overextended yourself? You're exhausted, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, and you're like, I didn't even do anything. You start the day tired. And we are on a constant emotional overload. Now, the compassionate boundary, what we are proposing, is the balance. Act from love and service without merging into other person's boundaries. And here comes the Sufi line, keep Allah at the center. Keep Allah at the center. Here's an example. Sympathy, I care about you. I respect your journey. Empathy, I feel with you. Compassionate boundaries, I care and feel with you. And I want to change that but to end. Who's recording? Please, somebody from Vietnam is helping with our slides. One of South African people, actually. I'm going to do this again. Compassionate boundaries, I care and feel with you, and I stay centered and let Allah do the healing. So those of you in the healing business, you know that it is Allah that does healing through you. So, this is just for awareness, and we are going to throw this into the WhatsApp group. I am not going to go over the details of every single line with you, but circumstances, if you are not aware, but you probably are, just to remind you again, circumstances that affects HSP, being around strong emotions like grief, funerals, weddings. You're not just affected by negative things, you're also very affected by positive things, but they can also become overwhelming. Crowded and noisy environments, exposure to conflict or negativity. So I am not saying that keep yourself safe and don't ever expose yourself to negativity. I'm saying that if you are mindful and stay centered, it is not going to overburden you. That's what we are working towards. You feeling everything, and instead of shrinking within yourself, to still stay open and do what you need to do going through life, which is to serve your own creation purpose. And we see the rest: grief, illness, energy, and energy of certain places. This is why, for example, when we are visiting Keramets, which we will do Sunday, we say Selamun Alaikum, enter respectfully. We are not just going through. Or if you go to a place that some horrible thing has happened, beware from the beginning. You will do extra protection over yourself before you get in. And actually, don't go there if you don't have to. But if you're going to go to the prison, for example, Mandela's prison, I was like, okay, Ihlas Felak Nas, Ya Muhimi Ya Hafiz, because you are feeling it, and those feelings of desperation, unhappiness, it's so intensely felt, especially someplace, like a prison. It's intense. So what it is awareness of your own being. This one is another one that I would like to go over. Others' expectations or emotional needs. Remember empathy? When we go into constantly responding other people's emotional needs and also go into people pleasing. As a Sufi teacher, I am asking you to please understand this comes from you trying to keep yourself safe. Because somehow we learn if you could just keep people around you happy, that's the only way you're going to be safe. Then we go into people pleasing. Especially women, we suffer more from this. I have it, we all have it. This is because we did not have that space to grow maybe, or maybe you had a very authoritative parent. But please understand, when you are helping other people, unless you do it mindfully and consciously and as a service, you are emotionally trying to manage yourself. Okay, these ones we are going to actually, these triggers, possible triggers, we are going to throw them into the WhatsApp group and then you can go over them. We have some suggestions. For example, lack of rest or sleep will affect you more than other people. You really need to understand this one about yourself. And we are going through emotional conflict or tensions. Spiritual practice, step back, breathe, center yourself. We give some suggestions on what to do here, but actually we're going to go over how to do it. That's what I am after. Just go over injustice and unfairness, spiritual practice, pray for justice, and trust Allah's timing. Nothing in this world that you have seen, because we can see everything, and probably there's a lot more worse stuff that we don't see, has not happened before. This is the worldly life. Good and bad are mixed. And I'm talking about wars. And I'm talking about people suffering. So we have to do what we can do about this. And Allah says, I will not change the situation of a community until they change what is in their hearts. So what change could be when we see great injustice happening? Start from ourselves and turn to Allah and pray for justice to come. And remember the hadith, if you can do something with your hands, you do it. If you can't do anything with your hands, you can do it by speaking about it, you do it. And if you can't even do that, you pray for it. We Sufis are saying, please start from praying for it and see how Allah guides you. And this is the other ones. As I said, we are going to put these into the, we're going to put this into the WhatsApp group. Just that energetic clutter in spaces, look at that, number 22. Spiritual practice, clean and recite Yasin, first 12 verses of Yasin. We are going to go over that. You don't have to worry about it. And you're going to have this in the WhatsApp group. And Ayat al-Kursi for cleansing. We have some videos and everything, I think, online. Just start from the right. You just touch your lip once and start reciting Ayat al-Kursi. Okay. Here is our reminder. Sensitivity is awareness. When balanced with faith, boundaries, and rest, it becomes a sacred strength. What we do for this is we use zikr and recitation of Allah's most beautiful names to protect and ground ourselves, practice self-care as a part of spiritual work. Remember, if we don't function well, our life will not function well. And remember that you can love deeply and still stay centered in Allah's peace. Because Rahman and Rahim and Salam, what do we say to each other? Salamun alaykum, peace be upon you. What does Allah want most from us? Greet each other with peace, exist in peace. And we say Rahman and Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, we are supposed to say. So, in the name of Allah, act with mercy, act the one who acts with mercy and source of mercy. That's what we are saying every time before we do something. If we just slow down and just pay attention to that just for a minute, you will see this is the world Allah wanted us to have. Peaceful, centered, actions of mercy, those among you who act merciful among themselves. That's what takes us to source of mercy. All right, we talked about Allah and we talked about staying centered in Allah. This is how we talk about what Allah is question. This is the answer that we give. From Quran, Surah Al-Nur, the light, 35. Allah is the nur, light, energy of the universes and the earth. So, it is not gender implied, just like energy cannot have gender. And next ayat, I forgot I have the box. Say, He, Allah, is Ahad, unique, formless. Allah is Al-Samed, the administrator of all manifestations. Allah does not give birth, nor is Allah born, and nothing is equal to Ahad. This, Sheikh Tanar would say, is very much the description of energy. It cannot be created or destroyed. All right. Principles of Sufi healing as it applies to HSP. These are what we do when we are doing healing on other people and ourselves. We start with intention. I intend to do healing. And then attention. For who? Let's say for Shami, how do you say her name? Shamiha, okay. Shamiha. I intend to do healing for Shamiha. And so now I am going to connect, make rabata, and make rabata to my heart, and she is in front of me. This is the direction. She is in front of me. Dosage is how many times we are going to repeat the prayers and recitation. I'm just basically giving you just a really quick description of what we do in the healing session. And timing, when. So how is this going to apply to highly sensitive people? Here are We are going to talk about that, but here are some prayers and zikrs that we are suggesting. Yasin, first 12 verses. Please either listen to it or recite it before you leave the house every day. And obviously, Ihlas, Falak, and Nas. Our people, please write Ihlas, Falak, Nas, change the direction. So 3 Ihlas, Falak, and Nas every time I get into the car. Just as soon as you're getting out of your house. And as you are going to sleep, recite Ayat al-Kursi just around your bed. This one is to establish boundaries. Let's say you're going to go into a wedding. I'm stuck on weddings, I think. This must be the wedding time every time I look. Okay. Ya Hay, you intend. Ask Allah to, oh Allah, please make my physical and energetic boundaries firm and clear so I do not absorb what belongs to others. Think of, even you just have this intention and just go into what you consider a hectic, that's right, South Africans say hectic situation, and then see, just with this mindfulness, your situation is going to change. Now add these names of Allah that is in Ayat al-Kursi to that. You don't have time to recite Ayat al-Kursi or you're just learning. Ya Hay, living. Ya Qayyum, caretaker. Ya Ali, high. Ya Azim, great. Ya Hay, Ya Qayyum, Ya Ali, Ya Azim. These are the names of Allah in Ayat al-Kursi, or you can just recite Ayat al-Kursi and then go. This year particularly, our spiritual instruction is to say salawat as many times as we can, all the time. And aside from that, we actually use salawat in healing all the time. We use it for depression. We use it for feeling low. We use it for emotional balance. And we ask you to say it. For example, if somebody is feeling really low that day, just recite Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad 101 times. This one, actually, we work with people all the time, and I'm sure you have your own experiences with this, but please keep this in mind. This is your best friend. And again, we are following what is in the Quran because Allah says, Allah and His angels shower peace and blessings upon Muhammad. Really, Nuru Muhammad, and you do the same. Okay, here is our other highly helpful surah to HSP. Surah Al-Inshirah. Even when you are grieving at your deepest, Surah Inshirah helps. We actually use Surah Inshirah for heart problems. You put your hand on your heart and recite the first line 7 times. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. But if you could memorize all of it and say it or listen to it on a loop, it will make your boundaries stronger, so that you don't have to stay buried deep within yourself, but you can come up. Here is the next one. Please forgive the spelling. We realize it. Recommendation is spelled wrong, but we ran out of time to correct it. But here it is. This is about fear. We have talked about fear of unknown, fear of death. What do we do? What we suggest you do is for 3 months, 41 times a day, you recite Ayat al-Kursi or listen to it. And here is an easier way. If you have not memorized Ayat al-Kursi, then you recite Allah's names in there, because Allah says most beautiful names belong to Allah, and we should pray to Allah with them. So you can just say, Ya Hay, Ya Qayyum, Ya Ali, Ya Azim, Ya Hay, Ya Qayyum, Ya Ali, Ya Azim, Ya Hay Ya Kayyum, Ya Ali Ya Azim 41 times a day. Or Ya Aziz, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Whichever you are able to keep consistent. Ya Aziz, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. 41 times a day, up to 3 months. All right, we are at positivity prayers. You have, if I could ask you to take out your positivity prayers from your package. Yarhamkallah. It's a little small, huh? It's bigger on the screen. All right, this was inspired to Sheikh Taner, and we suggest that everybody does this for their family, starting from themselves. Even myself, I would start from my family first, and then add myself after. And one day I was giving a presentation like this, and then my husband turned to me and he said, "Why aren't you first in the prayer?" I'm like, "Because I'm praying for others." He says, "No, who are you responsible to Allah for?" Actually, it was in Cape Town, on Tyrone Road. I'm like, "Me?" It's like, "Yes, start from yourself." So I say, "Oh Allah, I intend to do positivity prayers for myself and my family and my community, and especially you should please do this for your family." And how we do it is we went back to intention, attention. I intend to. When you say that, you're already connecting to Allah. And then you can look at a picture of your family, or you can envision them in your mind, whatever works for you. But every day we should pray for them. Ya Hadi, Ya Haq, Ya Latif. Guidance to the truth with ease. Oh Allah, please give them guidance to the truth with ease. Ya Alim, Ya Hakim, Ya Hasib, Ya Haq, Ya Rashid. Now, oh Allah, please bless them with knowledge, wisdom, calculation, just, and maturity. Ya Mumin, Ya Rashid. Please make us all mature believers. Ya Vedud, Ya Salam, Ya Jami, Ya Nafi. Love, peace, and togetherness in goodness. That's what we want Allah to bless us with. Ya Muhaymin, Ya Hafiz. Oh, I jumped. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Balance. So when we are praying for balance, we might think just one thing, but really keep in mind, that's why we wrote it right there, physical, emotional, and mental balance. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. And we use this also in healing, and you should use this for yourself when you feel like really out of balance and overwhelmed. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Put your hand on your head. Let's just do it just 3 times. Breathe in and out of your nose while we are doing this, because I'm going to do it and you're just going to experience it, right? Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Ya Adil, Ya Muqsit, Ya Haq, Ya Salam. Okay, you can open your eyes. If you closed your eyes, feel the grounding. Your head might have felt like it just shook a little. That was you kind of shaking up and coming to yourself. And Ya Muhaymin, Ya Hafiz is the same way, protection from all evil, hidden and apparent, not just accidents, hidden and apparent. Ya Fettah, Ya Rezak, we all need this. If you're looking for a job, Ya Fettah, Ya Rezak, you recite that 33 times. Opening doors for sustenance. Ya Ghani, Ya Rezak, self-sufficiency in sustenance. Let's say you're not earning enough money. You need to make more of a living to live a good life. Ya Karim, Ya Wahhab, we are asking Allah's generosity and benevolence. And let's say we feel oh, I can't do this, I can't do this, this is just too much. Ya Muqtadir, Ya Qadir, Ya Nafi. We are asking Allah ability to do things in goodness, in a good way that is good for us. Ya Muqtadir, Ya Qadir, Ya Nafi. And this one again we use for healing, Ya Qawi, Ya Metin, Ya Shafi. Endurance, strength, endurance, and healing. Ya Qawi, Ya Metin, Ya Shafi. Let's say your immune system needs an extra boost, or your child's immune system needs an extra boost, or you're passing by an accident and they really need help. And Ya Ghalib, Ya Azim, success for what? Exams. Metric exams are coming out. I guess they already took their exams. May Allah help them all. And interviews, Ya Ghalib, Ya Azim. You just say it 3 to 33 times with intention of Allah's help coming to you. Ya Sabur, Ya Latif, patience and tolerance with kindness. When you find that you are at the end of your rope, but you still have to go out and do something, this is the one that will help you, because every name of Allah is a frequency. Allah said, kun, and everything happened. And that frequency went out, and the whole world and whole worlds and universes were created. So each name of Allah, we are saying, is a frequency that blesses us, covers us, helps us, heals us. That is why Allah wants us to use them and pray with them. And Ya Ghafur, Ya Afu, absolution and forgiveness. And Allah always says in the Quran, constantly repeated, be grateful, be thankful, thankfulness. What is it? If you are thankful, Allah will increase what you are thankful for. Let's say we spend our whole time thinking about negative thoughts. What is going to increase in your life? Frank, more negativity, right? Because we are stuck in that. Rather, the most important part of this, when we face a situation, overwhelm, anything, we turn to Allah and ask Allah to help. This is why we are using the positivity praise and everything. It's not me trying to fix something. It is at all times. You see an accident, you're passing by, you can't even stop, but your heart goes to them. Ya Nasir, Ya Shafi, Ya Nasir, Ya Shafi, Ya Nasir, Ya Shafi, and you move on. You see somebody has incompleteness. I mean, they gave you a horrible customer service, and you can be angry with them, stay all the time, or you can turn to Allah. Oh Allah, please help them. Ya Hadi, Ya Haq, Ya Rashid. Ya Hadi, Ya Haq, Ya Rashid. And understand that we will also have our own incompleteness along the way. And if we don't show mercy, we will not get mercy. Because acts of mercy leads to the source of mercy. Let's see, I think that's the end. Let's see the time. Fahri? We're good. Okay. This is the names of Allah chart, as again inspired to Sheikh Taner. We worked on it actually together. If you see, it starts with Ya Zul Jalali wal Ikram, it goes all the way down. That's like human being's spine. And one side is mercy names, and one side is power names. So we got to see that. Really, Allah has more mercy than wrath for us. And the circle, the white places, are Allah's Zat names, person names. Right in the middle, Allah, Nur, Hu, and then all the other Zat names. Look at that. Ya Muqtadir is right there. Ya Qadir is right there. Ya Qawi, Ya Metin, Ya Rashid, Ya Vedud. They're in the positivity prayers. So you're praying with Allah's Zat names for a situation to get better. And let's say we are faced with a situation and we don't know what to say, what to do at all. Always what works? Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. That's it. You don't really even have to know anything else. Because in that time of extreme stress and everything else, just call upon Allah and Allah will be there for you. Allah says, ask of me and I will respond to you. Ghafur 60, I think. All right, I think. This one is about physical boundaries. Actually, it will go more towards what he's talking about, what Riaz is talking about. Don't push your body so much that it has to remind you forcefully that it exists. This happens to me not all the time, but at least once a month, and I realize I have overextended my physical body, and your body will not allow you to do that. What happens? You suddenly get sick and you have to rest. I am asking that we give ourselves that space, myself included, before we get to that spot. Thank you. If I am now going to, here, take it. Thank you. Turn it over. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Sheikha? I can bring the mic to you. Just one? All right. Anybody else? Notes?
Yes. We are going to put in
WhatsApp group.
quite a bit of these slides into the WhatsApp group that you have joined in. We will even do that like soon, actually.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, before you leave, inshallah. Okay.
All right. If there's no other questions, then we thank Sheikha. Sorry, let me stop the timer.
Sometimes 33. So how do you determine the different amounts of recitations?
So she's asking why are there different numbers, and actually you're going to see that in Fethiye Ruzgar's presentation. It is going to be so many numbers, so many times. This one technique that there are some established techniques. One of them is that you look at the ayat number. It is not in this dua book, it's in the older one, this one. For example, brain healing, we have it right here in your guest, in your package. When you look at certain zikrs, let's say it is I am sick and he heals me. If it is ayat 21, it is not, but then you will say that 21 times. This is like a very simple one of the spiritual techniques from old. I think it has to do with the frequencies, it has to do with abjad and numerical, things like that, but we don't have to know all that. I don't know those things, but you read through Quran. Here is a simple technique. As you are reading, actually let me show you, and as because I'm going to do the translation for Fethiye Abla, let me show you there. Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? Sheikha, thank you very much for sharing that with us. So our next guest speaker is Mr. Riaz Salka. So Riaz he studied anatomy and physiology and did his postgrad at UCT Medical School in Applied Anatomy with modules in exercise science and proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. He assists people through nutritional interventions, postural rehabilitation, and release and resetting of imbalances in muscular tension due to injury and or bad movement patterns or postural habits. Riaz's topic that he'll be discussing with us today is systems within the body and how they integrate, shifting definitions of what it means to be healthy, and what are considered best practices or habits that can be developed for a better outcome. Mr. Riaz Salke, welcome.
I'm going to sit over here if that's okay. Assalamu alaikum. So this is not going to be a standard kind of talk where I'm going to be in front and you're going to see a whole lot of slides. What I'm hoping to do is to start people off, or if you're already on this journey, to maybe hopefully propel people a little bit forwards into taking responsibility for your own bodies. It is my feeling, based on, I'll maybe give a little bit of background first, based on my interactions with people over the years, around their bodies, around how they feel about their bodies, around injuries, around like situations that they find themselves in, and moving forward, that we have been disempowered when I say Western medical practices, I must be very careful. There are some very amazing practitioners who do amazing jobs out there helping people. But our systems, I think, for whatever reason in our current situation, don't seem to be working for the masses anymore. So when I say Western medical systems, I'm talking about the system that tends to disenfranchise people and keep them in a state of ill health. So to come back to my point, I find that the system disenfranchises people and disconnects them from their own abilities, their own instincts around their bodies, and then creates dependencies. And those are dependencies on substances, on medications, on the practitioners themselves, and on the system, and doesn't often pass a lot of knowledge back to you, to one, on how to deal with these things and to how to improve or get oneself out of a situation. And so that's what I've concentrated on. To give you some history, I didn't intend to be a practitioner of any kind. I had this knowledge base that I had established when I was at university. And I also had the privilege of lecturing at UCT in anatomy and teaching a wide range of medical students, the MBCHB youngsters, the nurses, the degree nurses, what was used to be called logopedics and now is called speech therapy, occupational therapists, physiotherapists. And in that physiotherapy space, I ended up having quite a bit of interaction in that space. And because my knowledge pool from my degree and my postgrad was quite different from the knowledge pool that they were drawing from, I realized that there were many instances where I would treat people in a different way than what they were doing, or approach things in a different way. And about maybe in the mid-early 2000s, somebody had carpal tunnel syndrome, a friend of mine's mother, and was about to go for an operation. And I said, I don't think that you need the operation. My brain kept on telling me this is a mechanical problem and there's a mechanical solution for it that doesn't need an operation. And with a 1 or 2 hour intervention, that person no longer needed an operation. And that was the start of a journey where I got referred out to people. Now, I can never call myself a medical practitioner because the Health Professionals Council of South Africa will not recognize my qualification as a medical practitioner qualification. So I can never actually open a practice and put my certificate on the wall and call people in. So it's all been word of mouth. Everything I've done has been word of mouth. And I didn't even really used to charge people anything, because I didn't feel I had the right to do that. And somewhere along the line, people felt they needed to recompensate me. And I said, whatever you want to give, and that makes people very uncomfortable. So then it becomes a situation. And I generally don't, unlike the Western medical profession, I won't take money if I haven't helped. It doesn't matter the amount of time. Like, the people then do offer to recompensate, but it's just one of those things. So that's my background, and I've now, since the mid-2000s, treated thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I think. And I think that if I'm going to be kind to my success rate, I would say I have a 75 to 80% success rate in the things that I can help with. And that's not an advert, because ultimately, as Sheikha mentioned, I feel the same way. I feel that if one was meant to heal, Allah will heal you. And so I don't consider myself the person who's healing. I just get put there as a facilitation of that. And if it wasn't me, somebody else would be there to do that. So it's a bit of a balance there. Anyway, so this hopefully is going to be the start. So I don't know what everybody's background is. Also, this is more of a conversation. So we are going to, I will take interruptions at any point in time. Please do, and I will ask questions that I expect answers to, and we can be formal, and you can put up your hand, or you can just speak the answer out if you want to. I actually don't mind. So let's get into a different frame of mind about this. The first thing I want to say is how many different, in my experience, how many different interpretations or ways of being people have when they consider the insides of their body, what their body is doing. Do we even consider that? Do we think about what's happening inside our bodies constantly, and what is our mental picture of that body? So maybe take a moment and just go like, what do I think about my inner workings? Like if I was going to talk to somebody, they might go, ach, as derms in bloed. Like there's organs and blood and it's all pumping and that's it, you know? Or you might just have an idea like for example, you could be eating out, for an animal, you could be eating the flesh of an animal, but not have the perception that that was once a muscle. That thing that you eat was once a muscle inside somebody, but that's a particular muscle who's doing a particular function. If you're eating the white meat, the breast portion of a chicken, that's the thing that was flapping the wings of the chicken. If you're eating the drumstick, that's the legs of the muscle, the leg that was causing it to propel forwards in that way. You know, like people can't seem to connect the insides of the body to the perception of what's happening inside our own bodies. And so I think that's an important first step in the process. So if we were just sitting around here, like, I don't know, like if everybody's awareness is different. Like if I say, go into the first primary awareness of your body, that you're alive, that you're here, that you're sitting, like what comes to your mind? Yes. You're thinking of cells in your body that are working. That's what your mind goes to. It goes to every part of your body.
It goes to systems, it goes to light, it goes to brain, it goes to the final table.
Yes. Yes. Does anybody have any other like things that first come to their mind when they think of being here, being alive? Like what does the feel like? Who? Like the personality. Who? Okay. Okay. Anything else that is just an internal, like your first response? I'll tell you what mine is. It's interesting. Mine is just like my field of view, like from here to here. That's what I immediately, to know that I'm alive and my body's functioning. The first thing is that, and the second thing is my life feels like it's here. I don't know any other way of putting it. But many people have different internal like feelings about what is it that drives them and pushes them forward. So it's less of a philosophical thing and more of what do I just feel that makes me feel alive. And I know if my vision is restricted, so if I start seeing like this for some reason, or if there's darkness in a room, I almost start feeling less alive. That's my scale of how alive I am, is how much light is present and how much I can see. So that's interesting, because then what is a blind person's sense going to be then of being alive would be totally different to mine. And so I think everybody has a different sense of that. Yes, sir.
You may be awake, but you may not be aware.
Yes, correct. So first, and I'm going to say science, but there's always a distinction sometimes. People always make a distinction between science and the spiritual, or science and the alternative. But science is just a word that people have needed to give names and words to processes, and they've gone through a process of giving those names. But those processes existed whether or not we gave them names, or we saw them, or we didn't. So when I say science, don't take that as a separation of creation, like a man's separation of creation or spirituality. It's all integrated into the same thing. So when I say science, I'm saying people who have tried to classify things in the Western medical science, which we all know had its origin in the Persian world and developed and was taken over when the Persian Empire was unfortunately destroyed. And now it's become the grail, holy grail of the West now. But what are the systems? Do we all know the systems that the body, they are 12, like say 11 or 12 in medical science, all the different systems that integrate to form the person. Okay, does anybody have any ideas about what those systems are? Physical systems, yes. Skeletal system, okay, that's one of them. I'm going to tick them off as we get through them. Okay, before we go, put our hands up. I'm going to try and say something about each system. What is the purpose of the skeletal system? So, protection is the very first one. Protection, well, there's no priority there, but protection is the first one. And the second one is movement. So if we thought of it in terms of physical science, if elastic bands were the thing that moved something, what do we need an elastic band to have to be able to move something? If I want to move a ball by tying an elastic band to it, what does it need for that elastic band to move the ball? It needs something stable or a lever upon which to act. So anything that's going to move you needs a lever to act, and that thing is the skeletal structure. It also has a tertiary function, which is storing of certain things. It stores the bone stores a lot of things. Okay, so those are the different that's the different functions of the skeletal system. Okay, that's one of 12. Next one, yes, the muscular system. What are muscles made of? Protein is the key. Out of the 3 food groups, muscles are made of protein. So a muscle, what happens is how does a muscle work? A nerve sends a signal to a muscle, and the muscle fibers all sit in fibrous structure, so they are fibers. You're correct in using the word fiber, and they are set in a way. Like, I'm gonna just say they set like this, and when a nerve stimulates the muscle, it does this. That's it. A muscle can only shorten. That's all it can do. Okay, but in the shortening of a muscle, if it's attached to a lever, like if this muscle here is attached to the bone over here and it's attached to the bone over there, when it shortens, it pulls this arm up. And then this muscle here, that's the bicep, this muscle here, which is the tricep, I'm not showing off at this point in time. This muscle here contracts, it's pulling against that bone and it's pulling this arm back in that direction. Okay? If I want a more precision movement, if I want to grab a fly out of the air which is just there, or mosquitoes, it's mosquito season, if I want to do that, that is a very fine balance between this muscle, and about 16 or 17 muscles in the forearm to create this rotational movement and to cause this to go there. But there's also stabilization going on, because you know, if you build a structure that is in balance, say I balance a ruler across two stones, and I tip the ruler over this way, to keep it standing up, you need to create a counterbalance. So the moment I'm lifting up this hand, there are muscles throughout my entire body firing on the other side to hold my balance. Otherwise, I just tip over this way because I've changed the center of gravity. Okay? So muscles are made of protein. And I'm just going to make one statement now. I think there is a chronic shortage, a chronic undernourishment of protein in our existence at the moment in terms of our diets. I think people are getting maybe, I'm going to say, 10 to 15% of the protein that they need to sustain their bodies and to sustain their strength. Okay, so we've got muscular system. Okay, so it's the nervous system, okay? Well, so the nervous system comprises the brain, and the spinal cord, which is the central nervous system, and then the nerves which all lead off from that peripheral nervous system. I'm going to try not to get into too much detail, but thank you, and overwhelm with a lot of jargon, and I'm going to simplify, and I might even say some things which are maybe oversimplifications, which are not really correct, but for the sake of this talk, just to keep it. So, how does the nervous system function, by the way? How does it, so we're saying that the nervous system is here to transmit messages to your body. One of the key things is to tell the muscles what to do. How does it do that? So a thought process, but there's conscious movement, like what I want to do, and there's a tremendous amount of unconscious things happening in you. I don't say subconscious, like unconscious movement. It's against your will. You can't do anything about it. What are examples of those? A sneeze, okay, yes, yeah. Even more subtle example of things happening in your body all the time that you have no control over. Blood, heart beating, you don't really, well, I guess through breathing techniques you can slow or speed up, but generally you're not aware of it. Everything, saliva in your mouth, your stomach, because when your stomach is digesting, it's doing this inside your body. It's doing this, it's mashing up the food. Yet you have no idea that that's happening. You don't even know it's happening. Okay, there's the passage of food through your small intestine and through your large intestine. There's thousands and thousands of things happening inside your body that you are not aware of. So the brain is partly doing that, and it's partly doing voluntary movement, and of course of thought and thinking and those sorts of things. But what is the mechanism by which the message is going to the different parts of your body? Neurotransmitters. It's electricity. That's why, did you notice when somebody if somebody grabs something and gets a shock, the body tenses up? It's short-circuiting your brain, and it's actually sending electricity straight to your muscles. So it's actually electricity that's going through your body, right? Now, in addition to that electricity that's going through your body, how does that electricity transmitted? It's not copper wires, right? So how is it transmitted? What is the mechanism of transmission of those electrical impulses that are telling everything what to do? These are called ions. Okay, so there's certain chemicals like salt, like sodium chloride, which when it gets into your body, it breaks into positive and negative ions. Okay, and those positive and negative ions, they conduct electricity. And I'm not going to get into the complex science of this, but has anybody seen, like, if you actually put two wires in a lemon and you connect it to a light bulb, the small light bulb will actually go on? That's electricity being generated by the electrolytes in that lemon. You can Google it and you can YouTube it and you can see that happening for itself, right? So electrical energy is actually stored in liquids. So when they talk about electrolytes, that's a key word that we're always hearing these days. Low in electrolytes, high in electrolytes. You need electrolytes if you've exercised and you've lost it from your body. Electrolytes go into your system and they break up and they create positive and negative ions, which then in the nervous system allows you to transmit electrical impulses and allows your body to function well. How do you lose electrolytes? Stress leaches electrolytes out of your body. When you sweat, they leave your body. When you urinate, they leave your body. So when you exercise or when you're under stress or when you're sweating, you lose electrolytes. There's a particular electrolyte called magnesium, magnesium breaks up into an electrolyte in your body, Mg+, a positive ion, and that magnesium is responsible for relaxation in the body. So if you are low in magnesium on a daily basis, you can't relax. You wake up tired. And when you're driving in traffic, your temper is at the peak. If you take enough magnesium, and I've prescribed magnesium to people on occasion, and I said to them, pay attention to your behavior in traffic. And they come back to me and they said, it doesn't affect me as much anymore. So you know that you're good at magnesium if you don't wake up tired and that you're not as irritable in traffic. It's like a very simple kind of like, and I'm not going to go into how you take magnesium, all those things. I'm just going to say that that's one of the chronic shortages in the Western diet. The reason being is that our fruit and vegetables used to be tremendously dense with magnesium, but farming methods now, fruit and vegetables are stored for long periods of time. They lose a lot of they lose a lot of the nutrients in them, and also the farming methods, they're no longer grown in natural soil. They're grown in industrially produced fertilizer, which doesn't contain magnesium. So the plants don't get magnesium into their fruit and their vegetables anymore. So they say there's about 5 or 10% of the magnesium we used to get 100 years ago before farming became industrialized. That's why you need to supplement. Because I'm not a fan of supplementation, but there's some things that are essential that you need to get in. Okay, so that was the nervous system. Okay, that's 3 out of 12. Cardiovascular, which I would call the circulatory system, or same thing, or similar. Let me just tick it off on my. Oh, maybe I left it out of this. So that's the blood pumping through the body. What is that function? The heart, yeah, the heart definitely pumps through. But what's the function? Just briefly, I don't want to go too deeply into of this cardiovascular circulatory system. What's the function? Supplies nutrition in terms of like what the cells need. It's taking what the cells need and placing it into the body. And so it's oxygen and food, right? And it's removing all the wastes and all the negative things out of the body to be sent away. Okay, so it's a transport and a return. And in that transport and return, it's doing that, it's taking those things. It's also a transport system for various other messengers in the body that they need to go from place to place. And it also hosts the way that the body defeats enemies, which is a different system which I don't want to give the name away yet. So okay, so that just for people to understand how fluid Western medical science is. They've just discovered that the heart doesn't pump blood that we always thought the heart doesn't pump blood to the body. The pump of the heart has just been discovered, I think this year, or last year, towards the end of last year. The objective of the heart when it expands is to draw blood out of the system. And that keeps the thing going. They've only discovered that now, after how many years of scientific knowledge and development. This is the new theory of how the heart works. So if we thought that Western medical science are full of facts and confirmed things, they're not. It's always shifting and changing. And that's important to note, because things have shifted way past what South African practices in the medical profession are still continuing to stick to. Globally, we've moved past a lot of those because of new research. Okay, so that's the circulatory system. What's next? Okay, so respiratory, and then you said, okay. Respiratory system. We all know that we need air, oxygen to survive, and that's obviously us breathing, okay? And so it's just the process of air going in, entering our lungs, and then exiting. When it exits, we're breathing out waste products like carbon dioxide. Water vapor is also quite important in that process to lubricate the area. I've got one thing to say about this, which is just, I'm going to say a lot of things that hopefully start people on journeys. Is it healthy to run? Yeah? So I'm going to say that there's no right answer to that. But I can tell you this. If it's peak hour traffic, and you are going around Rondebosch Common, it's like you've smoked 2 packs of cigarettes. Okay? So there's no single thing that is happening. Toxins enter you through here, okay? And they are absorbed into your bloodstream. So how you breathe is a very important thing, and where you breathe and what you breathe is also very, very, very important. Okay, so somebody may think that they are doing their body a great service by running, and yes, running with the proper technique and running with a program and with an idea and with the correct posture is good. Also, you must be aware that you are really pushing your respiratory system very hard, and if you're consistently putting poisons in while you're doing that, that's problematic. So running is good under certain circumstances, walking is good under certain circumstances, walking can be bad too. And it's a part of the practice I do. I'm going to tell you now that this walking like this, like I'm going to walk now, which is the main thing that's happening when I'm walking now, is that I've got these muscles firing here, which are the oblique abdominal muscles, which are the core. People think the abs are the core. The abs are not the core. The obliques and the transverse abdominis are the core. And I can feel these muscles working. So as I take a step, I can feel this one going like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. And that means that this walking is healthy for me. Besides the other fact, which is I'm not plodding, which most people do because of sitting at desks. These muscles become short here. The shoulders go forward. There's a pelvic tilt which starts happening. This is posterior pelvic tilt, and they plod. Each step that is taken, this is firing. Calves are not firing. And therefore your blood is not circulating properly. So if I'm walking like this is therapeutic. If I'm walking like this, I'm actually damaging my system. Okay, and because you're doing it so often and so regularly, you can create a repetitive strain injuries in your body, which then will come back to haunt you. So that's a little digression over there from the respiratory system. But like I said, I'm trying to spark off people's need to want to know more about these things rather than give you a complete single lecture. So that's respiratory. Next. We got now 4 out of the 12, 5 out of the 12. Immune system. Very complex. The immune system is extremely complex. Like I still don't quite get it, and I did it for a year in human physiology. It is really, and the understanding of it is still not great. If we think that they've deconstructed and they know everything in medical science, they don't know everything. As soon as you start getting to a postgraduate level, you start realizing that it's just all theories. They're like nobody's really certain about how it works. But the immune system is simple. There are invaders that are coming into our body from various things, and the immune system is there to repel them. Okay? It's based on cells, white blood cells, which are in the blood, and in other places in the body, and I don't want to give it away because that's a system. And they are there to deal with invaders. Now, when your systems are not working well, there's a huge spike currently in our modern age, our postmodern age now, of autoimmune illness, where your immune system's actually attacking its your own body. Okay? Does anybody know any examples of autoimmune illnesses? Rheumatoid arthritis. Lupus is one, yes. Yeah, but yes, yeah. Sarcoidosis, eczema, the other psoriasis, all those things are the immune system not functioning well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that for now, unless anybody has any comment. Okay, next. Lymphatic, that's the one I was avoiding saying. People are not so very aware of the lymphatic system. It's one of those ones that not everybody knows about, except you know that you get glands. When they say glands, so what is the lymphatic system? Why is it there? Hey? Drainage system. So your body processes about 20 liters of blood through there. When I say processes, it means that the blood ends up in the tissues, not the blood that's just flowing directly through the system and needs to leave the tissues again. Of that, 3 liters of that stuff is, of the 20 liters per day, is what the bloodstream can't take back and put back where it needs to go. So the lymphatic system does that. It pulls the stuff back and it puts it all back into where it's supposed to. It goes back into a vein, subclavian vein. And then so it's taking all this fluid called tissue fluid and it's pulling it all up and it's depositing it back into the subclavian vein. Now, when they say your body's retaining water, often it's the lymphatic system not being able to drain it. Okay? How does the lymphatic system work? How does it? What pushes the fluid from like your legs back up to your body? Do you know? It's the muscle pumping. So it's a one-way valve. So the lymphatic system, like veins, is a one-way valve going upwards. And so if you think about it, it's like a hose pipe, and around the hose pipe, like going through your calf muscles, for example, as you walk, the calf goes and it pushes stuff up, and then the valve blocks it from going back down again. And each time all the muscles in your body function, it pushes, and remember it's got to go up here, and the vein that it goes in is up under here. So if you are sitting at a desk all day, your lymph is sitting, and the lymphatic system is it's draining not only fluid, but it's all the toxins are staying static in your body. If you walk with bad posture, you close up all the lymphatic vessels and your circulation vessels, and so toxins are not getting to circulate through your body and going to the places they need to. So bad practice over time is going to toxify your body. And good practices where those things are pumping all the time and keeping the circulation going are going to make you feel healthy. Okay, that's the lymphatic system. A little recommendation, because when people go get swollen legs, do people experience swollen legs? Swollen feet, swollen ankles? Is to you can do it yourself if you want to, you can research it on the internet, a lymphatic massage. And it's basically the sequence by which you can send fluid back, the lymphatic fluid up through your body. And interestingly, in COVID, even though I consider myself pretty healthy, during lockdown, my legs just got swollen. And I did a bit of research on it, and I learned how to do that, and I just did it once, and like the fluid just started moving through my body again. And you don't have to rush to the hospital immediately, although, I mean, obviously if you have conditions or so forth, like heart conditions, obviously that might be leading to heart failure, which is allowing fluid to build up. But it's always worth just testing that and seeing if you can move the lymph up your body by yourself with manual movement. Okay, next. Well, the digestive system. Because organs participate in different systems. So like the heart organ participates in the circulatory system. The digestive system, which is food going in, obviously being processed over here and then exiting your body as waste, as solid waste, okay? So the digestive system is is the eating and the drinking and the expulsion of solid waste. That's the digestive system. I'm not going to go into too much detail into that right now. Next system, endocrine system. Another system that is not well understood or is not in the general knowledge of everybody. What is the function of the endocrine system? Hormones, people say hormones, yes, the endocrine system creates hormones. Just to distinguish between a different system, the endocrine system is ductless glands. So things that produce hormones, like in the brain, sort of almost central inside of the brain is the pituitary and the hypothalamus. Those create hormones. Then there's the adrenal glands. There's the thyroid gland, there's the parathyroid glands, there's the gonads, which are in the male, the testes, and the ovary in the female, which are all producing these hormones. But what is their function? Emotions. A little bit, and we'll go into that a bit later, I think, if we have time. But they are basically giving the information, passing information everywhere for the different functions of the body. They are the information carriers. They're intelligent information carriers that keep the body functioning optimally. So so it works in what they call a feedback mechanism. There's a whole lot of it's be so difficult to explain this. There's a whole lot of messenger service going on. When something is high in the body, it sends a messenger service, like temperature is high, something will be stimulated to go and say, make the body shiver, make the body sweat to bring the temperature down again. Okay, if the temperature gets too cold, then another hormone is secreted to make the body, to ramp up your body, to create like shivering and so forth, to heat up the body, because we need to maintain the body's constant internal temperature. So it's a whole bunch of messengers that are moving all around now. For mood, it's really, really important. The endocrine system actually dictates your emotional state. A chemical in your body is responsible for the emotions that you're feeling. People who suffer from depression have a combination of either or, and low serotonin and low dopamine. If you have enough of those chemicals, you will not feel down. And if you have too little of those chemicals, you will tend towards depression. Okay? So your emotional state is dependent on those chemicals. And what's happened is our bodies have become totally destabilized. So the natural balances that were in the body for those things are out, for whatever reason, okay? That's all I'm going to say on the endocrine system for now. Yes?
Can I just ask a question?
Absolutely.
How do you explain the interaction between the body and the environment? So we're talking about something hormones fluctuating, but if we're in difficult conditions over a particular amount of time that are very stressful, how would you explain the body's response?
Could we jump through the systems, because that actually comes up next if I have enough time. I'm going to do a time check quickly. Left. Okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly jump through the other systems, because I don't think that they have a lot of bearing, but just that you understand that they're there. Is the exocrine system. The exocrine system are other glands. They are glands with ducts, like tear ducts, like sebaceous glands, like sweat glands, like salivary glands, mucus glands, and they have a particular function for protection, lubrication of the body, etc. Okay? There's the urinary system, which is liquid waste, excreting of liquid waste. Keeping the electrolyte balance is very, very important, keeping the pH balance in the body. So that's the urinary system, keeping the water balance in the body. If there's too much water in the body, it secretes it. If there's not enough, it holds water back. There's the integumentary system, which is the system that binds everything together, which is the skin. Okay, which is the integumentary system, which is it's the skin. It's the skin, it's the outside covering of everything, skin, hair, nails, etc., protective coating. And then the last one is the reproductive system. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to talk about... Can we add some into the question time? Okay, great. How long is the question time? 5 minutes. Because we are sort of doing Q&A in the middle, isn't it? So, okay, Okay. So now, if you look at those systems, for a person to be functioning, takes a lot of interaction between a lot of different systems. So you've got to ask yourself, what does it mean to be healthy? There is no straight answer to what it means to be healthy. What it means to be healthy, I believe, like in my opinion, it's when your systems are in balance, right? In a way that doesn't affect your perception negatively. That doesn't affect your perception of yourself negatively. Self-perception. So if you're sitting there now going like, oh, my back, sorry, then something's out. Okay? Or, I can't, like, I've got this thing on next week and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, something's not. Anything that is negatively, that means that all these systems that we're speaking about are out of balance. Okay? So, systems affect each other, and that's why it's very different for the medical profession to find a root cause of something. Okay? I think a lot of things that people call an illness, I call a syndrome. A syndrome meaning there are multiple layers of different things going wrong that are affecting different systems to the point at which something's got to give inside of yourself. And to correct that, you need to reinforce, take away as many negative practices as possible and insert as many possible practices as possible. Because yes, you can take a tablet that's going to temporarily take away the symptoms, but that's not necessarily going to give you long-term relief. Okay? And the problem with this, or the challenge with this kind of thinking is it's a long-term situation. You've got to be patient. For somebody who's magnesium deficient, to get enough magnesium in their system, it'll take you 4 months before your body's going to replenish its magnesium if you're magnesium deficient. So you can't go like, the doctor told me I must take magnesium, I took it and nothing happened. We have this sort of instant need for like instant gratification around medication, and corporates feed that. So they put stuff in that medication that is going to mask everything and make you feel good for those few minutes that you take it, or for 3 or 4 hours, and then you're just going to end up popping that the whole time. But you haven't made the systemic changes that need to happen. And that's the challenge when you want long-term wellness. I'm going to challenge us with thinking about our bodies differently by think of other combinations of systems and what our approach is to other combinations of systems. So let's look at a house as an organism. And what are the different systems in the house? And what are the parallels? Okay, so we look at the house and we'll go, there's an electrical system. Okay, which is, I guess, the nervous system. It connects everything together and it's sending electrical messages to tell things to be on and off. There's the plumbing, which is now, could be the digestive system, or it could be like the urinary system, where water's coming through and being used and being passed through. Okay, there's the protective system, which are the burglar bars on the outside, and then the windows, and then the doors, and then the garden, the fence around the garden, and things like that. Okay, but there's more. There's the internal protection, which is the paint. What is the thing that is the immune system of the house? That's interesting. The anti-mold, maybe, the varnish that you continuously replenish so that the wood doesn't rot in the inside, like various things, the invasions that you're preventing of bugs and ants and cockroaches and things like that. But now, the issue is, when is the house healthy? It's never completely 100% functional and everything working well, isn't it? It's never that. It needs constant input. to be healthy. It needs constant maintenance to be healthy. There's no combination of systems that's ever going to, on a standalone, all is said and done, be fine. It's always going to have to be in a system of maintenance, a process, a program of maintenance. And if I'm going to go to society now, so let's think of society as a combination of systems. We've got our legal system, we've got our government system, we've got our policing, our safety and security, we've got our hospital system, we've got our transport system, which is the roads, we've got all those things. And now, even if you look at society, if we go, what happens if society's systems don't function well? Okay, well, chaos eventually in some parts, some are still going to stay functional, isn't it? One could argue that South Africa's systems are not working well. America's systems are not working well at the moment, right? It still functions, right? It still goes, it still creeps on. The economy still sort of happens and people are still, we're doing our day-to-day thing. But there are pockets of toxicity that are happening. Like, for example, if you go into the poorer areas, if you enter into a Hanover Park or enter into a Gugulethu, even in those areas, it's still functioning, but the toxic nature of it is pulling it down. And the more toxic pockets you have, the more that things are going to be pulled down. And the increase of toxicity eventually will overcome the organism. Or we start maintaining those things better and we shift our degrees out of those things. So when I talk about pockets of toxicity, and I'm going to bring it back to the body, what would we consider pockets of toxicity that are things that we become aware of that mean our systems are not functioning properly? As a basic example, if you're getting boils, that's a boil is a pocket of toxicity, which is some system that's not functioning properly. That's what it is. Right? It's like the body's has got all this negative infection, and the white blood cells are gathering in a certain point and they need to be exposed to the outside, and it's telling you, it's an indication that something's wrong. Okay? Fungal infections in your body are a symbol of toxicity. It means that your landscape of your body, something's wrong, and it's allowing fungus to take hold of you in those particular areas. An ulcer is a symbol of toxicity. Irritable bowel syndrome is a symbol of toxicity. Okay? Various infections, some would say like hair loss. I mean, besides male pattern baldness, hair loss in patches, symbol of toxicity. Dental cavities, the amount of people that I can tell you who have 100% perfect dental hygiene according to Western medical, and they still have issues in their teeth. It's because the system, something in the system is showing up in those areas. Poor eyesight, ear infections. I mean, there's loads and loads of them. So that's just indicators of toxicity due to the systems not working well. Okay. Right. Okay. The Western, yes. Yes. It's just like that's a very hard question to answer quickly, but I'm going to say yes. And very often I've found that people who are going to Western and they've spent 5 or 10 years and hundreds of thousands of rands, there have been cases or instances where they've spoken to me or people like me who are doing this work, and I've given them a very simple solution, and that's it, their problem's done. But that's just, I guess, I don't know, it's partly experience, it's partly like just paying attention to the integrated systems of the body and continuously reading all the time and staying up to date with scientific papers, and people get in a rut where they don't do that. One of the key problems in Western medical science, especially, I'm going to say, because I've experienced at UCT Medical School, is that there's not enough nutrition. Like, they don't learn any nutrition. I don't know if it's changed now at all, but like the Western medical, I treated a doctor, a specialist, recently for his back, and I asked him what are the 3 food groups, because I wanted to tell him to get more protein into his diet. And he couldn't tell me. And he's a surgical specialist. He couldn't tell me what the 3 food groups are: carbohydrate, protein, and fat. He couldn't tell me that. So you can get siloed. I'm not saying he's a terrible surgeon. He's probably a brilliant surgeon. But he's siloed into like only that specific way of thinking. And we have this thing where we give medical practitioners our almost we worship the words that they say. And we must be cautious of doing that. Okay. Yes. I'm going to just move slightly away to an earlier question that you told me, and I'm going to say there's only 5 + 1 ways anything from the outside comes into our bodies. Anything comes from the outside and into our minds. There's only 5 + 1 ways. And that's a very freeing statement if you think about it, because you have full control over all of those ways. It's through our eyes, through our ears, what we hear mostly, that's what our ears are used for, mouths, our nose, and our skin. And then the last one is our filter of our perception. Because today we can sit here and all of us have a different perception of what's happening right now. Nobody has the same thing. I can sit in the same environment of a group of people and I can go, I'm happy because the roof is wood. And that person could be going like, I'm in a really bad state of mind now because of what happened this morning. I got into an argument this morning and I just didn't eat properly and my stomach's not feeling good. So like, it's all perception, isn't it? Like, it's all perception. You can even shift your perception out of like the feeling of hunger. Like, I can feel hungry, and to me, the feeling of hunger, I relate it to something different. I relate it to being a positive feeling. But some people can relate the feeling of hunger to being a negative feeling. Okay, that's just, it's a different perception from a different person. So you only have these 5 things, and you have control over all of them actually. And that's the only way to enter the system. And so, of those 5 things, good choices for those 5 + 1 things, good choices there will balance your system out. That's it. How you find out what those good choices are a journey that everybody's journey is different. I'll say something personal, which is, I don't know if it's something that will apply to you or not. I was a chronic sufferer of depression. I had a 15-year-long battle with chronic, deep, highest on the scale depression. It was like absolutely suicidal. And it's a very difficult thing, especially when you have to reconcile it with your Islam. Right? Because it's too easy if people say it's because you don't have faith. It's too easy. It's a very easy assumption to make. But I got myself out of it with absolutely no medication, prescription medication. I'm not advising that to anybody else. I'm just saying it can be done by fixing multiple levels of the system, of those systems, by fixing those. And there was even a time period when I was out of the depression but in danger of sliding back. And now I am so far out of it, through the grace of Allah, obviously, but also that it is possible, and that we should not lose our faith that these things are possible, but also our faith must be based in knowledge and searching for the knowledge. We can't sit back and allow people to just dictate what we should and shouldn't do. Okay. I'm going to speak about how our filters of perception are being used against us in this current state of the world that we're all participating in. Okay. Corporates in the 1930s to the 1950s realized through the discovery of psychoanalysis that it's possible to manipulate people into what they call manufacturing needs and manufacturing consent. So for their own survival, they need to addict you, they need to addict us to products. And they used, so the other job that I do is I teach in film and media, and I work in film and media. That's one of the key ways in which corporates hijack us and make us addicts to products and they seduce us with instant gratification, which actually destabilizes our systems and keeps us handing money over. Now, I don't want to go into a conspiracy theory. This is not conspiracy theory. Sigmund Freud's nephew was a guy called Edward Bernays, and he got hired by the United States and the United Kingdom corporations, because he was a professional in psychoanalysis, to write out how to trap people into becoming consumers. So it's actually available. You can actually do the research. And that is, I think, one of the key reasons why the general health of our populations is so low. Because of people falling prey to this, but it's almost impossible to not fall prey to it in some way or the other. And one of the reasons is, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but one of the key reasons is that we have screens on the inside of our house that are constantly showing us things that we would not allow in our house if real people were doing it.
Can you repeat that?
There are screens inside our houses that are constantly, 24/7, showing us things that we would not have allowed in our own houses if there were real people doing them there. And that strikes me as something that is very, very interesting from a psychology point of view, how it's affecting us, what it's doing to us. And so it's very, like, it's not a judgmental thing here. I also watch things. I try not, I don't have a television, but I do watch things on the internet. I try to make it more educational, but sometimes you go into entertainment things as well. But if we think about what we should and shouldn't be doing in terms of the restrictions of our faith that were placed on us for our own health and well-being, we are allowing those things in our house because they are people, they are real people, isn't it? They are perceived, like in our deep subconscious, we are perceiving that as a reality. Somebody can be smoking weed, smoking drugs, injecting heroin in our front rooms, in our living rooms, in our bedrooms there, showed like in front of us. And I mean, I'm just speaking about one thing. There's murder, there's horror, there's like abuse, and so I think that's one of the ways that the Western media, and I say West in terms of just modern media, is hijacking us, getting us into a state of fear, and then controlling us through like those narratives that we are subconsciously absorbing. I'm not talking about I'm just going to stop that. I'm going to round off. The two things that I do, could I steal, like, how many more minutes can I steal for rounding off, or none? Okay. If it's okay with everybody, can I use 5 minutes to round off what I was saying? If it's okay with everybody? Okay. A few things that I'm going to jump through. Questions for ourselves. Is an action that makes me happy a fulfillment of an addiction or an expression of systemic health? It's a question for ourselves.
Is this being recorded? Because we need the recording of this. Is this being recorded?
Yes.
Are you being recorded?
Yes, there's a camera there.
Okay.
Is an action that makes me happy a fulfillment of an addiction or an expression of systemic health? And then we've got to investigate ourselves and going, what's everything? What am I eating? What am I doing? Where am I going? Who am I looking at? Where, like, am I playing computer games that I'm playing? Communications via WhatsApp and those things. Like, is it an action that makes me? Is that action that makes a fulfillment of an addiction or expression of systemic health? That's okay. Then something that I've observed, which is not a question, but I've observed that some people, at a subconscious level, are maintaining their illness because it's a way of seeking attention. That they found that because of modern society, because of the isolation of people, especially people as they become more elderly, that they are actually forcing themselves into sickness because it's the only way that they get family to pay attention to them. And I think that's really, really important to think about that. Okay, and I'm going to tie that into something else a bit later. Now, and I'm going to skim through this now, which is what are best practices, in my opinion, to keep healthy. Number one, food and nutrients are vital. good food and proper nutrients that are not addictive substances that you're fulfilling in your body. And it's the easiest way to know if you're getting those things that are right for your body is you will feel fit and healthy and you'll feel like being active. That's the easiest measure. I feel fit and healthy and active. I want to exercise. I want to run. I want to do push-ups and sit-ups and squats and things like that. I want to get out there. My body wants to move all the time. I'm restless when I'm sitting down. Like, I'm active and I'm energetic, and that's how I know, at least for the most of the time, I think I'm giving myself the proper food and nutrients. The second thing is movement. But you're not going to want to do it if you're not giving yourself the right food and nutrients. You must feel like you want to move. Okay, and the healthy movement is really important. I showed just by walking in a particular way that you could be healthy. The third thing is healthy breathing. And that means the kind of air that you breathe, but also how you breathe. And you can research it. I'm going to go to a quick example here. The unhealthy way to breathe is to breathe chest first. It's very shallow, and it stimulates anxiety. The healthy way to breathe, watch, my chest is not moving, is into your stomach, which means your diaphragm is pushing down, which means your lungs are expanding. So my chest is not moving. First my stomach moves, then my chest moves, and now my lungs are full. And now when I expel the air from my chest first, and then from my stomach, that's a full breath of air exiting and a full breath of air entering. And that alone, if you do that, there's scientific papers published, breathe like that for 30 minutes a day, there are tangible things that will change in your body for the better, including your mood. Okay? They say 30 minutes a day. Just spending 30 minutes a day doing that. I mean, that's one paper that was published on it that said that. Number 4, in-person positive social interaction. You cannot be isolated, and people cannot be isolated. And if one thinks that it's about visiting somebody, like it's an effort to visit somebody who is maybe demanding of your emotional space or demanding of your time or demanding that, it is an exchange that happens. It's good for you too. Okay? It shouldn't be viewed as a responsibility and an effort when somebody is needing your support or needing your help. That exchange, social interaction, positive social interaction is so important, and we are all so isolated at the moment. When I drive around in Cape Town, you see no one outside. The streets are empty. Pinelands is empty. These beautiful gardens, beautiful streets, beautiful flowers, beautiful parks, and everybody's inside. I never see children playing anymore. The only places in the ultra-poor areas where you see children actually playing outside. You actually see some really good, really fundamental happiness out of those children, although the problem there is the social ills which cause different things, okay? The fifth thing is philosophical fulfillment. You need to have a life philosophy, and that needs to be fulfilled. It needs to be a fulfilling life philosophy. If your philosophy is life is pain, you will be in pain. If your philosophy is seek happiness, be happy in everything, then you will seek it. So it will be, your existence will be a derivation of your philosophy. And then the last one I've got on my page is spiritual fulfillment. So it's philosophical fulfillment and spiritual fulfillment, and that is pleasing our Creator, making sure that you feel that you're pleasing your Creator. And that's also a journey. Actions that I thought I was doing in my 20s that I thought was pleasing my Creator have evolved into a different thing now through seeking it. So I think that is an evolution as well. And then I'm just going to run through this. Examples of best practices, understanding which nutrients you need to create a better internal profile. So nutrients are the 3 food groups. What do you need out of them? Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. I said people are generally protein deficient, and they're saturated fat deficient. Saturated fats are what your hormones are made of. And so if you take saturated fats like meat fat, butter, and milk fat, and cream out of your diet, you're taking out what your body needs to make hormones. Okay? second example of best practice, bacteria in the body. They discovered that the bacteria, good bacteria in the gut, is what's responsible for 70% of the serotonin in your body, the good feeling chemical, is actually bacteria in your gut. Another interesting mode of research which has just happened right now is they've discovered in people's brains there's a second place where bacteria are important, and that's in your sinuses. And you can have good bacteria or bad bacteria in your sinuses, and you destabilize by chemicals going in your nose, like nasal sprays and sanitizer and all these other chemicals that we're using kills the good bacteria. They get displaced by bad bacteria, and they found in Alzheimer's plaques in people's bodies the bad bacteria that is in the sinus of the nose. So that's one of the problems with dementia and Alzheimer's, is not having the good bacteria in the gut, and then now not the good bacteria in the sinuses. Hence my talking about the pollution and running in pollution as well. Okay? Better immunity. Like thinking about your immunity. So we shifted, we evolved. There was a time when everything had to be sterilized. Remember that you had to clean every single thing. It was the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Bleach everything, kill all microbes. That's changed now. You need those microbes to give your body practice against defeating enemies. So now what's happened is, if you've sterilized everything for children as they're growing up, the immune systems are suppressed and they suffer under the flu and other things. They are more affected by it than they were before, because they haven't got natural immunity. They don't play outside enough. They don't get exposure to pathogens to bolster their immunity. Okay, breathing we covered. Best practice, movement and postural technique. How I sit can actually be therapeutic. So just very briefly, one of the worst things you can do is collapse your lower back. So you want a curvature in your lower back. You actually want a curvature in your lower back, because that means your spine is straight. That means all the blood vessels are functioning to conduct things properly and create toxicity. And then I did demonstrate the walking already. Then there's maintaining strength into old age. Okay? I think everybody should be able to do 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, and run 5 kilometers. And be able to do 20 squats up until you're 70 years of age. And that's my belief. And it can be done. You can see people on the internet have done it, and you can start working towards it, right? How can we be at our most intellectually advanced place, I'm going to say from the ages of 40 to 70, how can we be there and be physically disabled, that removes our power from us? Okay? And then good sleep is the foundation for all health. The last two, stress destroys health, and stress is perception. Stress is not it's not a real situation, it's perception. It's how you absorb the information. And the very last one, which is not last because it's important, I think the previous ones were more important, was getting rid of inflammation in your body. Inflammation is causing a lot of the issues that you have, and the inflammation is autoimmune. It's your body attacking itself because it thinks and stress feeds that. So you want to get rid of that. And that is me done.
Is the mic on?
Arias, thank you for that very informative lecture there. Now, Tommy, you mentioned 5 kilometers daily, 5 kilometers, 20 sit-ups and 20 push-ups. How often in a 1 week cycle?
I would say, that's broken into two questions. The first question is, how do I get there? And then the second question is, how do I maintain it? So, my recommendation, especially when one is older, I'm going to say post 40 or post 50, is that you never do more than 2 sets of an exercise. So you don't do 3 sets or 5 sets or 10, you just do 2 sets. You warm up the body. So if I'm going to do push-ups, I might as well just show you, right? So you warm up the muscle by doing the movement without putting the stress on the body. So I'm going to do push-ups, I do it against a wall like that. So I'll warm up my body like that first. I'm actually going to warm myself up because then I'm going to... And then, if you can't do hey? I don't think it's too much of an issue, one or the other at this point in time, but your body will, yeah, sure. Then, Obviously not, if I'm starting off, I'm not going to be able to do it there, so then I find an incline. Sorry, I'm going to face my back to you for a second. And now it's actually easy to do it on an incline. And so even this environment, I'm sure all your homes have this environment. There's more of an incline now. So now I can do it here if I can. And slowly I work my way down to doing it here on the floor. You start with 5. And within a week of doing it every second day, within 2 weeks, you should be able to do 7 to 10. And so you slowly grade yourself in to do it. And then it becomes, it's 10 minutes in the morning to do 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 20 squats. And you can do it every day, every second day. You'll still hold on to it if you do it every third day. You'll still hold on to your fitness, yeah.
Thank you, Riaz. That was very informative, and yeah, I'm sure there's many questions. Thank you so much for that. That was very inspirational. We do need to take a break. Dr. Shabir? Yes, I'm sure Dr. Shabir's got a lot of questions for you. You made some comments about doctors there, so maybe it's that.
Okay, sure.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a break. The plan was to take a 20-minute break, but I think we'll take a 15-minute, if that's okay, or less. Sorry? 12.5-minute break. Okay, so before we go on the break, we do have some exhibitors on the stage at the back there. Saida will just tell us a little bit about the exhibitors, and please do visit during the break.
Okay, so if you turn around, you'll see we've got some exhibitor tables at the back. So starting off on my left side, we've got the Rife Station, as well as Ansari Holistic Institute products, as well as Ansari publications. Then to the right, we've got funky crystals, accessories, and jewelry. And then we've got Mushmore mushroom products. Lastly, we have the Sufi wind chimes all the way to my right. And during our 2024 retreat in the KZN Midlands, we approached Lola at Kula Moya Chimes to make a chime that's tuned to the frequency of our signature dhikr, Ya Wadud, Ya Salam, Ya Jami, Ya Nafi. Peace, love, and togetherness in goodness. We gave Lola the frequencies of this dhikr because we wanted to have chimes that would tune to these frequencies. But she was unable to work with that, so we gave her a recording of Sheikh Tanar Ansari reciting this dhikr. She listened to this recording repeatedly for a year, and then she was able to design the chimes to that exact frequency. This has been the most challenging assignment Lola has done. Lola is a retired physics teacher, and she'd learned the skills of tuning and making wind chimes to specific frequencies from her mother, who is a pianist and a piano tuner. Each tube of the chime is individually crafted and tuned to the specific frequency. Lola's business has done very well since she hung our Sufi chimes up, and in early December, her studio was practically sold out. And she noted that when children walk into her shop, they go straight to this Sufi chime and play with it. The Sufi chime is not an ordinary chime. They are crafted and tuned with sacred intention. As the wind passes through the chime, it becomes a carrier of divine vibrations. The tones echo with remembrance, filled with spiritual energy. In every gentle breeze, the air itself begins to recite his names. The sound becomes a living dhikr, a subtle form of healing and alignment for the listener and the surrounding space. These chimes are ideal for homes, gardens, meditation areas, and Sufi centers, anywhere the seeker wishes to invite tranquility, unity, and sacred presence. In a time when the world is restless and hearts are weary, these Sufi chimes remind us that peace is not found in silence alone. It is found in the resonance of remembrance. Thank you.
Thank you. 12.5 minutes it is in. Be back at 12:39. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Before we start the next one, Riaz, I think Dr. Shabir would like to say something confirming your talk.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dr. Riaz Salkar, I cannot say how excited am I today after hearing you. I'm not from here. I'm here for the last 10 years in South Africa, in Cape Town. But I had never heard this name before. So your name is new to me. You as a person is new to me. But what you had to say today, in this very brief time, I just want to tell you that I have reached the highest level of Western medicine. I'm a pulmonologist intensivist. And I worked in a country like Saudi Arabia, which has put all the specialists of the world, Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, Europeans, Asians, Africans, everybody. And they had a common, like, it's not like South Africa, it's very discriminatory. And I don't know what they are discriminating against. If you are a pulmonologist from America, you are a pulmonologist from India, or you are a pulmonologist from Africa, it doesn't make any difference. If once you are a qualified pulmonologist, you are a qualified pulmonologist. And only your patients can be there to verify that fact. Good, they'll be fine, okay? So what you have just said, I just personally want to validate what you just said. Today what you said, I'm saying this in my capacity as a pulmonologist intensivist because I'm still a pulmonologist intensivist in Kenya, in India, and in Saudi Arabia. In South Africa, I've been reduced to an independent practicing general practitioner. But I'm fine, I have no problem with that. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be sitting here listening to a person like you, because I would be sitting in my own aura and ego of a super specialist. So that's very nice for me. So whatever happens is good. But I just want to say thank a million for what you have given to us today. Believe me, you have just planted some seeds which I can assure you will grow up to so many different things in so different places with so many different absolutely beautiful minds that have gathered to listen to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shabir. So to start off our next session, cultivating calm through establishing a connection of love. Let's experience Allah's calming love through listening to and then contemplating His love or His love notes to us in Qur'an Kareem through 2 workshop pearls. So this is a short interlude, or this short interlude is a calming body break, a change in pace. Allah's beautiful Qur'an Kareem holds ayahs of calm, frequency mixes that are nothing short of formulas for healing, medicine of the ailing self, or medicine for the ailing self, for the ailing spirit. Uplifting energy when tired, or simply needing an energetic recharge. Listening to these beautiful ayahs are calming tools in themselves, but that is only one wing. The second wing is contemplating the meaning of these beautiful ayahs. So firstly, we're going to be playing 4 ayahs out of the Quran. We want you to listen and drink in these frequencies. So I'm going to ask you to, everybody, just to quiet down, calm down, close your eyes, breathe, connect with your hearts.
ولا تهنوا
You may now slowly open your eyes. On the table in front of you, there's a little packet with a shell and a cookie in it. Okay, you can now open that packet. Okay, so now you can open the shells and you can open the cookies and take in Allah's gifts, especially for you on this day. There's a shell with a divine pearl, especially chosen for each individual, unique to your needs today. And there's a cookie with a message uniquely chosen for each one of you. Read the message. And contemplate how that is applicable and relevant to you today. Allah has shared His calming balm with you. His calming medicine, tonic, balm, especially with you and for you. Carry them with you and walk with the healing they bring along after this workshop has ended. It is now a pleasure to welcome Mrs. Fatia Abla Ruzgar from Turkey, who is also the sister of Murshid Sheikh Taner Ansari. Fatia's topic today will be about how I learned to listen to my heart from my Sheikh. Fatia Abla is an architect by profession and a gifted healer, and she continues to study Quran and grow her understanding of Allah's healing through Quran and the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. She works with AHI, where she facilitates remote healing and supports people who need prayers for exams, to find good jobs, and removal of nazar, also known as evil eye. I welcome Fatia Abla. Salam.
I will do the translation, so if something is missing, it's the translator's fault.
Katılımlarınızdan dolayı hepinize ayrıca teşekkür ediyorum.
Welcome, I bring you selams from Turkey, and I am very happy to see you here, and thank you for joining us today.
Müsaadenizle oturarak konuşmak istiyorum.
With your permission, I am going to speak by sitting down. She has a health problem. She gets a little dizzy, so.
Sizlere Türkiye'den selamlar getirdim.
I brought you salams from Turkey. I guess I saw that in writing and told you before she said it. So you get that now. Okay. Ablacığım.
Ben kendimi bildiğimden beri abim Şeyh Taner Allah yolunda çalışmaları devam etmiştir. Ben de onun çalışmalarıyla birlikte beraber aynı şeyler üzerinde çalışarak büyüdük.
She says, as long as I've known myself, my brother, Sheikh Taner, has always worked to serve Allah. And we did many services to community, including establishing a library, bringing water to towns, and establishing chicken farms, actual social services, as well as religious services. And she said, and that is how I grew up. Fethiye abla's, her name is Fethiye Rüzgar, but abla means older sister in Turkish. And so now you're all also calling her Fethiye abla, because when we were doing her slides, I told everybody, well, Fethiye abla. And so that's what it is.
Abim liseye giderken dahi bütün Mevlana'nın mesnevilerini okumuştur.
I'm sorry? They said we cannot hear her. Oral? Thank you for pointing that out. Seni duymuyoruz. Senin sesini duymuyoruz. Onu tekrarlayacaksın abim lisedeyken. Okay?
Şurayı herhalde açıkladım. Abim lisedeyken bütün Mevlana'nın mesnevilerini okuyup bitirmişti. O kadar Allah yolunda ilerleyen bir insandı.
Abi, my older brother, she says, my brother, when he was in high school, he took a great interest in Mevlana Rumi, and he read all the books. He read the entire Mesnevi, and he shared it with her.
Bu yüzden abim Şeyh Taner ve sizlerle birlikte bu güzel nurlu yoldan, Allah'ın yolunda yürümekten hem sevinçliyim hem de gururluyum.
And this is why this is one of the reasons that I am so happy to see us all together and learning about Allah. And I'm very happy about this, and I'm very proud of this.
Abim ölmeden 6 ay önce bana şifa yapmamı emretti.
As you know, we have said that she's actually a retired architect, and she does actually consulting now. If you're wondering how she ended up as our healer, is because of what she said. 6 months before Sheikh passed away, he was not a very ordering type of person, but he ordered his sister, Fethiye abla, to start developing herself as a healer.
Bana önce kalbimle nasıl konuşacağımı öğretti.
And the first thing she learned, which she will share with you today, and we will do a little practice, is how to speak to your heart. Yeah.
Bir gün bahçede kırmızı bir gül gösterdi bana.
One day when we were taking a walk in the gardens, he showed me a red rose.
Bu gülle konuşacaksın dedi.
And he said, you are now going to speak with this red rose.
Aklını kalbine ver.
Surrender your mind to your heart.
Kalbini de gülle konuşmaya ver.
and surrender your heart to the rose. Well, actually, connect your brain to your heart and connect your heart to the rose. Please delete the first translation. This is the right one.
İlk defa yaptığım için çok heyecanlanmıştım.
I got very nervous because this was the first time I am ever doing anything like that.
Bizim oralarda bülbül şarkı söyler gül için.
In our neck of the woods, I guess that's American saying, let me see. In our culture, the nightingale sings for the rose.
Aşkını ifade eder, güle aşkını ifade eder.
For the love of the rose.
Ben de güle bu soruyu sordum.
So I decided to ask the rose this question.
Bülbül sana neden aşık dedim.
She asked the rose, why is the nightingale in love with you?
Gül bana cevap verdi.
And to her surprise, she didn't say this one, I'm adding in. The rose answered her.
O bana aşık değil.
The nightingale is not in love with me, which surprised her.
O bende Allah'ı gördüğü için ona aşık.
The nightingale sees Allah in me, and the nightingale is actually in love with Allah.
Çünkü Allah her gördüğü, her yarattığı güzel şeyde görünür.
Because Allah manifests in every creation that He has created in beauty. This rose was
Ben de bülbüle aşık değilim.
And I am also not in love with the nightingale.
Allah'ın o sesi ona bahşettiği için, onda Allah'ı bulduğum için aşığım.
The song of the nightingale that Allah has gifted the nightingale with, that beauty that Allah has blessed the nightingale with, I am in love with that frequency. And that frequency that I am in love with is in the nightingale.
Bu şekilde kalbimle nasıl konuşacağımı öğrendim.
And this is how I learned how to speak through my heart.
Şimdi Afrika'ya geldiğimde de bir örnek daha söylemek
I would
istiyorum.
like to share another story with you. When I came to South Africa, this is her first time, hers and Hilmabi's, her husband's first time in South Africa.
Fahri bizi deniz kenarına götürdü. Fahri.
Yes, Fahri took us to the seaside.
Evet. Orada denizle konuştum.
Wilderness'ta mıydı?
Efendim?
Wilderness'ta mıydı?
Yok,
Port Elizabeth'ta mıydı?
Port Elizabeth, evet oradaydı.
In Port Elizabeth, you took him to seaside, and there, o mu seni konuşuruz, sen mi konuştun?
Ben denize sordum.
Then it came to her that she should ask the sea a question.
Denize sordum, buradayım, mutluyum dedim. O da bana hoş geldin dedi.
Actually, not question. She said, I am here and I am happy. She was standing by the sea in Port Elizabeth and said, I am here and I am happy. And she heard the sea saying, welcome.
Şimdi bundan sonra tabii ki abim bana şifa ile ilgili başka şeyler de öğretti. Şifa ile ilgili genel bir tanımlamada bulunacağım.
This is my story in short. After this, we are going to speak about Shifa and what I have learned from my brother about Shifa and how to apply this in your life.
Şifa yapılacak kişiyi önce aklıma alıyorum.
So she's sharing with us how she does Shifa. Fethiye abla, you heard that she actually does TC3, Turkish Clinic number 3, which does nazar, blockages, and job interviews, helps you with those. And so she said, whoever needs healing, first she envisions them, she takes them into her rabata. In her brain, she just envisions their picture.
Aklımı aldıktan sonra kalbimle irtibat kuruyorum.
And then I connect to my heart. So my heart, my brain that's holding, remember rabata, intention, attention. So now she made the intention to heal. She envisioned them, so that's her attention and direction right there.
Ona ne yapılması gerektiğini öğreniyorum kalbimden.
And she asks her heart, what type of healing does this person need? What do they need? To her heart. And her heart gives her the answer.
Ertesi gün Fatiha suresiyle başlıyorum.
Ertesi gün mü bir gün sonra mı
Bir gün sonra başlıyorum.
So her technique is, please understand when you're taking these courses from us or when we are helping you.
Uzaktan şifa yaptıkları.
This is remote. You will each have your own way. Ahad. Remember, we learned about how everybody has their own unique way. So her way is this. She does remote healing mainly, and one day she takes the person into her rabata and thinks about it, and talks to her heart, and the next day she starts doing healing.
Fatiha ile başlıyorum.
She starts with Fatiha. First she asks permission, Destur ya Allah, Destur ya Resulallah. We did that in the beginning of the zikr. And then she does Fatiha.
Ondan sonra o kişinin kalbime gelen ve o kişiden de duyduğum şeylerde niyet ediyorum. Onun için niyet ediyorum.
And this is where she sets her intention according to what that person has said. For example, they might say, I have blockages in my life, and according to also what has come from her heart. So she unites those two and intends to do healing on that information.
Niyet ettikten sonra bir genel temizlik yapıyorum.
And first thing she does before she starts healing is general cleansing on the person. And we are going to show you how she does, how she tells us to pray on Nazar. She's going to share some of her protocols with us today.
Genel temizlikten sonra.
So first cleansing. First step is cleansing.
Genel temizlikten sonra onunla ilgili olan Kur'an'dan dualarımı yapıyorum.
And after that she does the prayers from Quran
Allah'tan istiyorum.
That has come to her related to this person's healing need, and then she does dua, because you're going to see some of her healing is dua.
Şifamı yapıyorum.
And that is how she does the healing.
Ve kalbimi dinliyorum, tekrar rabıta yapıyorum.
And then she makes rabıta to her heart again and listens to her heart.
Temizlenip temizlenmediğini,
are they cleaned
şifaların yerine ulaşmadığını,
have the healing that has been done reached the person.
Ondan sonra şifayı şükran ya Allah diyerek ve Fatiha suresiyle bitiriyorum.
And then she gives Allah thanks for the healing that is being done, and she finishes with Fatiha.
Daha sonra kendime temizlik yapıyorum.
And after that, this is the very important part. She does cleansing on herself.
Şimdi biraz da aileyle ilgili, aile huzuru, maneviyatta aile huzuruyla ilgili bazı şeylerden bahsetmek istiyorum.
Bu konuşmamı slaytları mı kullanacaksın?
Şimdi bu konuşmadan sonra slaytlarda onları vereceğiz.
So we are going to talk about how to have peace and calm in the family life and in our relationships. So she's going to speak some, and then we are going to go to the slides.
Manevi açıdan aile huzuru temel olarak sevgi, sabır, hoşgörü, sadakat, saygı üzerine inşa edilmiştir.
Spiritually, the foundation of love and connection in the family has been built on love, respect, loyalty, başka ne dedin?
Sadakat, hoşgörü,
loyalty, tolerance, patience,
Evet, sabır da var.
Evet.
Onlar üzerine inşa edilmiştir. Bunlar insanlar karşılıklı olarak görev ve sorumluluklarının bilincinde olmaları gerekiyor.
These are the duties that every member of the family should be aware of. For our family to go forward, we must have respect and tolerance and sabır with each other.
İletişimlerinde şefkat ve nezaketi de esas almaları gerekiyor.
And in the communication, they have to keep in their utmost mind that we have to be kind to each other, rather than yelling, "Why don't you do that?" It's like, do it kindly.
Anlaşmazlıklarını yapıcı olarak çözmeleri lazım.
And they need to, within the family, have the intention of resolving the disputes in a way that builds up the family, not breaks down the family. So that's where the nafs comes in, right? I'm right, you're wrong. That's not a family. We are all learning and growing. That's a family.
Birlikte zaman geçirmeleri çok önemli.
It is important that the family, it is one of the most important part is
en önemlisi
that they spend time together.
En önemlisi de maneviyata, dine, inanca çok değer vermeleri lazım. İyi bir ailede huzuru bulmak için.
To have family peace, the family members have to give importance to their relationship with Allah and spirituality.
Bu konuda Peygamber Efendimiz'e örnek almalıyız. Onun ahlakını, eşlerine nezaket ve saygıyla davrandığını örnek alabiliriz.
In this way, our Prophet, peace be upon him, is our example on how kind he was to his family, to his wives, to children and everybody around him.
Geçici bir dünyada yaşadığımız için
since this world is temporary,
neden mutlu olmayalım?
Why should we not spend our time happily?
Mutlu olmayı hepimiz hak ediyoruz.
We all deserve to be happy. This is our gift.
Kendi evlatlarımızı ve evlatlarımızdan gelen evlatları da bu değerlerle büyütürsek hepsi mutlu olurlar.
And if we raise our children and grandchildren with these values and virtues, then we will all be living in a happier world.
Burada temel prensibimiz sevgi ve saygıdır. Herkese
karşı. Our main principles are love and patience and tolerance. Son cümleni anlamadım.
Maneviyattır.
And paying attention to your spiritual self.
Evet. Şimdi
and Allah's rights and wrongs, obviously.
Kitabımız Kur'an'da da bu aile huzuru ile ilgili bazı şeyler var. Onları
So in Quran we have our guidance and there are certain ayats that
39. ayet mesela.
She uses from Quran. Evet, onu
yukarıya mı çıkıyoruz?
To establish this one and to establish peace and love in the family, she says this is how she prays for them. Except please delete that. This is the part that she prays with. And I put love into you from me. Capital me. Please delete that you may be trained according to my will. That part is not what she prays with. 41 times.
Evet. Bu sayılar önemli değil. Bu örnek olarak verilmiş sayılar. O bayanın da sorusuna cevap olarak veriyorum. Bu sayılar istedikleri kadar çekebilir. Bunlar bizim tarafımızdan verilmiş örnek rakamlar.
You can actually, she's saying to answer, what was her name? To answer.
Evet.
Sadia? No. Carnita's question. She asked about the numbers. She says in the way that she does healing, it's actually not important how many times you say it. You can do it until your heart says, stop, it's done. And if you're taking notes, it is going to be ve alkaytu alayka muhabbetin minne. That's it. That's the prayer in Arabic. and I put love into you from me. Only that part she uses in healing. So with one technique, you could have say it 39 times. Another one she does 41 times a tesbih for them.
Evet, bir sonraki. Ya Veli Celle Celaluhu. Bu da huzurlu olan yaşantının devamı için. Yani devamlı olmasını sağlayan bir zikir.
Oh Allah, I pick you as my Veli, O Majesty and awe. Ya Veli Celle Celaluhu. 46 times she says she does in her healing. And again, she says numbers are not important, but this is what she's getting best results with for herself. So it's a tried and true situation, and that works for her. Another number might work for you.
Kur'an'ı da kendi dillerinde okuyabilirler. Yani o Taha suresi 39. ayet diyor ya.
Evet.
Onu da kendi dillerinde okuyabilirler.
In her experience, you can read these ayats actually also in your language by making rabita to Allah and reciting it yourself. She says this actually also still is quite nice and it works quite well.
Hayatınızda zor giden şeylerin kolaylaşması içindir bu sure. Ala suresi 8. ayet.
So this is a very important one. We sat down and she has her book. I think we're going to get another book. She filled that one up. This one is for difficulties in your life to become easier and for your life to have ease. And it needs to be recited daily. And this one is a very important part. And we put down there, recite 3 times, 7 times, 11 times, or 33 times. Basically, just recite any of those numbers or none of those numbers. Just recite. Venu yassiruka lil yusra.
Venu yassiruka lil yusra. Evet.
And we will help to ease.
Hayatlarında onlara her zaman lazım olacak sureler.
These are the prayers that you can use in your daily life to give you ease.
Evet.
Okay.
Şimdi bir de bana gelen şifaların çoğunda iş bulmayla ilgiliydi.
One of my main healings that I do, one of the things I do most is pray for people's paths to open and get unblocked and for their finances to be well.
Evet. Bu Sure-i Yusuf 54, 55, 56. ayetler iş bulmak için insanlara yardımcı olan ayetlerdir.
In her experience, these are the ayats. Every time she prays with these, people have very good results with finding jobs. And bir dakika, şunu söylemek istiyorum. So, do you see, are you observing, Allah has everything in Quran, and if Allah is talking about, look at that. And the king said, bring him to me so that I can give him the closest position to my presence. So this is actually what you recite to help get a good position. Okay.
Okay. Evet. Bu ayetler İhlas, Felak, Nas ayetleri ve Ayetel Kürsü temizlik için.
Ayetel Kürsü'yü de mi 3 kere yapıyorsun?
3 kere, evet.
Okay. So this is, remember she talked about how she cleans people first and afterwards she cleans herself. These are the ayats she uses. İhlas 3 times, Felak 3 times, Nas 3 times, and Ayetel Kürsü 3 times.
Evet.
So this is how she starts when she's going to do protection from nazar, and you can do this yourself. You should do this yourself, especially empathic people, empathy, yes. Highly sensitive people, you do need to do this yourself when you come home. Cleanse yourself.
Şimdi Felak, Nas, Nazar suresi aynı zamanda.
Felak and Nas is Nazar. As you know, we read it for Nazar anyhow.
Ama büyük nazarlara, yani çok büyük nazar değdiği zaman Kalem suresi 51 ve 52. ayet.
But if there is a lot of nazar on a person, then she uses Surah Kalam 51 and 52. Look at the last line. While it is nothing other than a zikr for all creation, so nothing else has power but Allah.
Yazdılar herhalde.
Evet.
Şimdi bir de insanların önünde zaman zaman bloklar oluşuyor. İş için oluşuyor, evlilik için oluşuyor, hayatında çeşitli şeylerde bloklar oluşuyor. Bunlar da bana sık geliyor, bu tür şifalar.
And this is the second one that I do most, is to remove blockages in people's lives.
Evet. Bunda da Ya Latif, Ya Habir, Estağfirullah ve Erhamer Rahimin.
So it's not Erhamul, it's Erhamer Rahimin. Three times.
Erhamer Rahimin. Bu da kilitli kapıların açılması için.
This is for opening up locked doors in your life, whether a relationship or job,
için.
and remove blockages that is stopping you from going forward in life.
Her şeyi Allah'tan istiyoruz çünkü Allah
We want everything from
kapılarımızı
Allah,
açar.
and may Allah open all the doors that is making our life difficult.
Şimdi bunlar şifa dualarımız. Bundan birçok şifa duası var. Ben en şeylerini seçtim.
There are many duas she does for shifa, for healing, when one is feeling sick. Obviously, we will tell you first go to the doctor, take care of yourself, and at the same time pray. All the shifa comes from Allah. She says she just picked some of them for you here.
Tövbe suresi 14. ayet, Yunus suresi 57. ayet, Nahl suresi 69. ayet ve Şuara suresi 80. ayet. Şuara suresi 80. ayeti bana Şeyh Taner bizzat söyledi.
She says the Shuara 80th ayat was given to her in person by Sheikh Taner to use in
genel şifa
healing
için çok önemli.
and in general healing. And I believe it is also in our healing book there too.
Evet. Şimdi psikolojik sorunları olan için de Ya Kuddüs zikri çekilecek.
So you understand this is not the only prayer she does, but she would like to share with you what she uses most, and that has worked repeatedly well. And for psychological problems like distress and depression, or you're feeling really low, Ya Kuddus,
Evet.
3 to 101 times. Or just keep saying it until you feel yourself stopping. Ya Kuddus, Ya Kuddus, Ya Kuddus, Ya Kuddus.
Ya Rahman Ya Rahim de insanın kalbini ferahlatması, kalpteki sıkıntıların atılması, ferahlaması için.
Ya Rahman Ya Rahim is for your heart to open up. You know, when you feel that squeeze in your heart, like it's like a tough day, for your heart to relax and open up, and so you can take a deep breath.
Evet.
And she says this is another one she gets a lot. Difficult husbands.
Şimdi Duhan suresi 25. ayet sinirli eş için.
Duhan, Surah Duhan, 25th ayat is for easily angered spouses.
Sinirli eşin sakinleşmesi için 21 defa.
For him to feel calm. You basically are praying on them so they feel calm. You're praying for them. Really praying for them. You recite it for 21 days. Kaç kere okuyorsun abla?
Her gün bir tane 21 gün okunuyor.
Once a day for 21 days. And then they become a new person. No. There are quite a bit of changes actually. You would be surprised. Give it a try.
Semi Celle Celaluhu. Ya Semi Celle Celaluhu. Bu da karı koca arasındaki bir sevgiyi yakalamak için.
Biz aileyi de dedik. Ya Semi Cella Celaluhu. Please add a who if
Orada
you are writing
yazılmamış.
it down. This one is for family to get along, husband, wife, siblings.
Kalplerini
For them
birbirine bağlamak
to realize that their hearts are connected and they feel the love again. İleri gitmen gerekir herhalde. Yeşil.
Buna bastım ama başkası geldi. Bitti zaten.
Okay.
Bitti. Ben onları tanıdığım için çok mutluyum. Benim
Daha
buradaki...
soruları var.
Ha?
Soruları var daha.
Tamam söyleyeyim de.
Söyle.
Ben onları tanıdığım için çok mutluyum. Eğer onlara yardım edebildiysem ne mutlu bana.
I am very happy to have met you and shared with you, share this space and this information all together. And if I could have helped you even a little bit, I'm very happy. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Fethiye abla. Çok teşekkür ederim.
Bir şey değil.
Any questions?
Any questions, anyone? You're welcome to ask now.
Hilmi abi mi soruyor?
Yok. Hayır.
Now
Fethiye.
I'll go the other way. I'll translate to Turkish.
Fethiye, thanks a million for
Çok
all
teşekkür,
your
milyonlarca teşekkür ederim diyor. Bütün
for all
paylaştığın
your
bilgiler için.
wealth that you have shared with us.
Çok zengin bir bilgiydi diyor.
Unfortunately, I hope I'll get all this back because I couldn't not cope with you too fast.
We got you. Don't worry, we got you. We're gonna stick these also into the
Yeah,
WhatsApp
please.
group. The events WhatsApp group.
Okay, great. I just want to tell you that
Yazamıyorum hepsini bu kadar hızlı diyor.
it really is great to feel that someone is speaking to you not through the mouth but from heart to heart.
Çok güzel bir
I
şey diyor.
personally
Böyle
could
ağızdan
feel
ağza
you.
konuşmuyoruz, kalpten kalbe konuşuyoruz diyor.
I personally could
Özellikle
feel your
böyle
sincerity and your,
gerçekten ne kadar
and that's why I think
candan
thank
ve
you so
güzel
much for all this that you
konuştuğunu
gave us.
hissettim ve kalbime çok dokundu diyor.
What you have just given to us is absolutely fantastic. And
Şu anda
I
bize
think you've
verdiği
given us
şey
lots
çok
of
çok
stuff
mükemmel
here.
bilgilerdi diyor. Bu yıl bizim için çok zor geçti. 20-25 bizim için çok zor geçti diyor.
But if we can sincerely, even if you take one or two or three of
Eğer
these,
bunlardan bir tanesini, iki tanesini kalpten yaparsak,
say daily from the core of our heart, I'm sure God will say labbaik.
eminim hayatımız çok değişir ve çok güzelleşir.
Thank you so much.
Çok teşekkür ederim. We're gonna have him as our next speaker. You always speak so well. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Any other comments or questions?
If you have a particular situation, you can ask, what do we pray for that? Or if the person is experiencing such and such situation, what do you suggest? You can ask. You can ask this.
Bununla ilgili zaten bir kitap yayınlanacak diye
Yeah,
söyledim.
evet. We are working on her book actually for the last 2 years. We have been collecting what she has gotten best results with for healing, and we are looking forward to her next book. When we go to Johannesburg, we're basically going to book writing camp with Fethiye abla. That's another reason. This is our first time in South Africa, by the way. Yeah. Ablacığım Sadiye, üniversite öğretmenimiz orada.
Assalamu alaikum and thank you so much Fethiye abla.
Çok teşekkür ederim Fethiye abla.
It is truly a sharing of your wealth, your inner
Gerçekten
wealth.
kalpten
So,
paylaştığın zenginliği
subhanallah for
paylaştın,
such
sevgini
incredible
paylaştın. Çok
generosity.
teşekkür ederim diyor.
Could you perhaps give anything for chest or bronchitis or
Bronşit
Yeah.
için olan duaların var mı diyor. Bronşit için olan duaların var mı diyor.
Bronşit için.
She looked through her book. She has gotten some of these from her brother, some of them from her mother, and some of them she has prayed and she has been inspired.
Rezak çekecek akciğer için, bronşit için.
For bronchit, she says, Ya Rezzak.
Ya Rezak.
Kaç kere?
İstediği kadar.
As long as you can keep doing it. Ya, you put your hand on your, yani ciğerine koyacak herhalde.
Ciğerine böyle yapacak.
You're gonna just,
Ya Rezak, ya
where is our
kalbine
lungs?
verecek.
Doctor.
Bu şekilde yapacak.
I'm teasing. You're going to do it like this. Like this, put your hand on the organ that you are praying, and with this one, you're going to pray Ya Rezzak, Ya Rezzak, Ya Rezzak, Ya Rezzak, until you cannot do it any longer. And repeat it daily. Until it goes away, inshallah. Thank you. Çok teşekkür ederim diyor. Öpücükler. Okay.
Anybody else? Today's been a truly inspirational
I'd
day.
like to inspire you a little further.
Yes, thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. This book that you have, to answer your question, this book that you have on your hand has positivity prayers, has the names of Allah, and has page, I wrote it down for you, Carmita, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 13 to 16 on the formula of how to make your dua, how to pray with Allah's names. And another page that I wanted to, how to seal the house with Ayat al-Kursi is also on page 23, 24. We did this as a little handbook you can carry with you, and you can just look, for example, traveling prayers. How do you do that? Protecting yourself and your children, or to keep one's enemy away, fear, paranoia, insomnia, that is all self-confidence. That is all in here as well. So we actually send you away with already notes for you. Thank you. I wanted to say that.
Thank you.
You have another question? Okay.
Can I just, do I have your permission to say something small?
Yeah, of course.
Please, as a Western medical practitioner, please do not make or commit the blunder that we doctors make. We doctors make one blunder, and that is we think that by prescribing medications, we are going to cure our patients. We don't cure nobody.
That's right.
We cure nobody. So the first and the foremost, I think she's made it, but I don't think it was really kind of highlighted. So I would like to kind of highlight it. It was there, the front, I think the first two probably slides. I think it is very important, just as you cannot perform namaz or salah till you do wudu, and you cannot perform wudu till you have got your niyyah, your attention in your direction. Unless you face Qibla, your direction comes in there. So these are the prerequisites before all this beautiful stuff that you told us and you shared with us.
Of course.
So I think it is very important for us to understand that there is no place with the best that you can give us where hypocrisy exists. There has got to be authenticity. There has got to be simplicity. If I am not true to myself, if I don't love myself, if I do not respect myself, if there is no transparency in me, I can read the whole Quran in one night and nothing will happen to you. I can assure you about it. So the prerequisite is nafs.
Allah istemeden hiçbir şeyin olmayacağı, bütün şifanın Allah'tan geleceği ve bütün Kur'an'ı bile okusan hiçbir şeyin Allah'a bağlı olmadıktan sonra hiçbir şeyin olmayacağını söylüyor.
Evet.
So whatever that you are giving us, it's layered.
Verdiğiniz şeyin bir sürü şeyleri var diyor. Kat kat yani bir bilgi diyor.
It is based.
Kat kat bir bilgi.
It is based on the assumption that I who prays all this, says all this, am investing in my purity.
Her şeyin temeli bu duaları yaparken kendime bir şifa yapıyorum, bir iyilik yapıyorum.
So that is the basic, I think, rule we must remember to follow before we do anything else. Thank you.
Allah'ın izniyle bunları yapıyorum diyor. Yes, thank you.
Evet, teşekkür ederiz.
Thank you.
We'll do one last one.
Fatiha Abla, you started by noting the connection between the mind and the heart, and then you said the heart to the rose and to the ocean, and I'm assuming
kalple beyin arasındaki ilişkiden bahsettim ve denizle konuşmaktan bahsettim diyor.
And I'm assuming that in healing oneself or healing other people, that's the same connection between first
bu
connecting
diyor,
the mind to the
insana
heart.
şifa yaparken aynı bağlantıyı kullandığını düşünüyorum diyor.
Can you give us, for those of us that have very busy minds, which is the state of a lot of the world, what are some of the guidance or your wisdom in terms of enabling that connection between the heart and the
Beyinle
mind?
kalbi birbirine bağlama konusunda böyle devamlı beyinlerinde olan, yani devamlı kafalarında olan insanlar için beyinlerini kalplerine bağlamak için nasıl bir şey verebilirsin diyor. Ne yol gösterebilirsin? Nasıl yaptığını bize yani.
Şimdi onu abim bana şu şekilde anlattı.
I will share with you what my brother has shared with me.
Evet, şöyle anlattı. Hiçbir şey düşünmeyeceksin.
First of all, first thing is you're not going to think of anything.
Sadece kalbine odaklanacaksın.
And you are going to focus on your heart.
Kalbine odaklanacaksın. Ve kalbinde hemen cevap gelmiyor. Bekleyeceksin.
And if you don't get an answer from your heart right away, you literally sit and wait.
İletişim meselesi bu. Yani
because this is a communication. It needs to happen naturally and organically.
İletişimi sağlıyorsun. Sorunu soruyorsun. Sorduğun zaman da bekliyorsun.
You don't ask. The way she does it is you do not ask until you feel that connection, that energy has been established. Peki iletişimi kurduğunu nasıl biliyorsun? I'm asking a question for you.
Dünyada olmadığını hissediyorsun. Yani dünyada yoksun.
I asked her, how do you know that you have connected? She said, you have a feeling you're like not in the world anymore. You are in the spiritual world. You just have that. You just have that feeling. If you breathe in and out, sit with intention, you are going to see. This you need to work on. So one thing we have talked in other workshops was humming. Like how do you stop your brain? So you have to kind of like first step, as he was talking about how you built up the steps. First step is to learn to shut your mind up.
Bazen cevap almadığın da oluyor.
Some people, bir şey anlatıyorum, onu açıklamasını yapıyorum senin için. Some people do humming, and you cannot try humming for a minute, not minute, but hum with me, like anything. Just close your mouth. I want you to just feel it in your sinuses, and then he told me you also feel it here as well. Now as you're humming, listen to me to see if you can think of something at the same time. It's kind of hard, right? So if you have a hard time going to sleep, your brain won't shut up, try humming, singing, a frequency. What is this but frequency? So this is one. Would you know other ways? Would you all suggest other ways to stop your brain from running on the treadmill? Anybody?
Anyone?
We are asking you. We are basically having a conversation with you. If you know, write to me. No. Riaz, do you? Do you know any other ways where you can just stop your brain from just running on the treadmill?
I think the breathing for me is
Breathing
very
works?
important. Yes, yeah. So that would be the one.
How would you breathe?
The deep breathing into the stomach, through the nose. Use the nose to breathe, and and yes. Yes.
How many of you have heard about the 4-7-8 breathing?
Right.
It's the easiest, simplest. Everybody can do this. You breathe through your nose on a count of 4, hold that breath for a count of 7, and then release through a pursed lips through your mouth on a count of 8. So it's 4, 7, 8. And you do these cycles 1, 2, 3, and after that you go into your elbow and you cough. Now
Did you hear that? Then you go, I hadn't heard this part. You go into your elbow and you cough.
Yeah. So now you either do it 3 or 5, depending upon how much you can do. Okay. So depending upon that capacity. But if you can do 5, fantastic. But if you can do 3, it is at least that's minimum. But the whole idea is that while you are doing this, your mind is also settling down. You see what I mean? It's not only the breathing, you are concentrating on your breaths, it's the oxygen that you are taking. But at the same time, that is kind of a zikr that you are also reciting,
Yes.
So that zikr has got its own calming
Beynini nasıl
effect.
susturursun olaylarını konuşuyoruz. Thank you. So we heard about humming, breathing in and out of your belly, or doing 4, 7, 8 breathing. So these are some techniques. You should search for yourself and see what works for you. So she says this doesn't always happen. So I'm going to go back to Fethiye Abla. She says it doesn't always happen. Like when you just ask a question and then you suddenly get an answer or you suddenly connect. It doesn't always happen. Actually, this is a little bit of a struggle because she needs to do healing as the person needs it, but connection happens as it happens. And that's why she didn't say, but sometimes she has dreams with people as she's praying for them, and then she'll have a dream, and then only next day she will have an answer. Evet ablacığım. Tamam.
This last section about discussing the connection that really summarizes this workshop very well. It's all about the connection, and this is what we do all the time in our Sufi practice. We learn to connect with our hearts. And this is also how we do the Sufi walks or the nature walks. So one of the other ways of calming your mind is through the nature walks and connecting with nature. And that is when you get these messages back, like what Fethiye Abla explained, where she could speak to the ocean and the ocean speaks back. We can do this also when we go into the forest, go into the garden, we can connect with our plants. And it's all about quieting that mind, connecting with Allah. It's always, the first connection is always with Allah. That's where Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim comes in. So before we all leave, let us practice that connection. So we don't have nature around us, but we do have the picture of the ocean. You're welcome to connect with the ocean. You can connect with the message that you've received in your shell. Or whatever, just shut down the mind, quieten the mind, connect with your heart, and listen to what comes to you. And don't doubt what comes to you. Whatever message comes to you, that message is for you. Okay, let's practice that now. Now think about how that makes us feel. We feel that calmness. We feel that connection. We feel that message. And all that we are feeling is Allah. Thank you, everybody. Okay. So now that we're all feeling calm, we've come to an exciting part of today's workshop. We're going to do the lucky draws, and for that I'm going to call on Sister Rashida Khan to come up and present the prizes. Begum, can you bring the prizes along? And our lucky winner is not Rashida Khan.
Number 12.
Is number 12 in the front. Congratulations. Number 16. Lucky winner number 27. There's one more. Number 10. Well done and congratulations to our winners. We now also have some awards for our presenters as a token of our appreciation and for your time today. And this will be presented by, we're going to draw a number, I think. Who's going to? Okay, Rashida won the draw, so Rashida will be handing out the thank you gift. Thank you. Please take the time to complete our review forms. We welcome any suggestions for future workshops. We will have another workshop in a year's time. This is an annual workshop that we have in Cape Town. We have one in PE and also Johannesburg. We've also got a workshop there. You can drop off the review forms as you exit. Just sharing some of our upcoming events. Western Cape, Cape Town currently, we've got healing days. Those are already passed on the 7th and 8th of January. And the contact person there was Bill Keys. In Gauteng, from the 17th to the 26th of January in Johannesburg, there will be healing days on the 20th, 21st, and the 24th of January. The contact person there is Wakila Rihana. The cell phone number is on the screen. It's 084 408 6835. And then we've got our 6th International Holistic Healing Symposium, which we are presenting in April of 2026. This is an online symposium. So if you or someone you love is living with chronic pain, we know how limiting and isolating that experience can be. In April 2026, we'll be hosting the 6th International Holistic Healing Symposium, a virtual global event themed Beyond Pain, a holistic approach to managing chronic pain. This 2-day symposium will take place on the 15th and 16th of April 2026 from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. South African time. And it brings together renowned healers and specialists from both Eastern and Western healing traditions. We'll explore holistic solutions for chronic pain, experience mind-body, and spiritual healing techniques, and engage directly with experts who work beyond symptom management to address the root causes. If this speaks to you, the contact number is on the screen. The contact number on the screen will give you all the details. We'd love for you to join us and continue this healing conversation together. And then we'd like to thank our sponsors for today's event. Sponsors are mentioned. And thank you to Eastern Acoustics for providing the sound and the visual for today. And thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you for being part of our community. It was wonderful having you here. You made this workshop possible. And thank you for all your wonderful interaction with our speakers. And thank you to our guest speakers as well. Okay, we will now close with Surah Fatiha again.
Shukran ya Allah, shukran ya Rasulullah, شكرا يا أهل بيت رسول الله شكرا يا صحبات رسول الله شكرا يا علي ولي الله شكرا يا إمام حسن شكرا يا إمام حسين شكرا يا عبد القادر جيلاني شكرا يا أحمد رفاعي شكرا يا عبد الله هاشمي شكرا يا محمد أنصاري شكرا يا محي الدين أنصاري شكرا يا تنر أنصاري المزين أنصاري شكرا يا نشاط صديقي الفاتحة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين شكرا everybody السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
Walaikum salam. In the name of Allah, the one who acts with mercy, the source of mercy, all gratitude and praise belong to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the one who acts with mercy, the source of mercy, the owner of the dominion on Judgment Day. We connect and devote ourselves to you, and we ask for your help. Guide us to the confirmed and sure path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not of those who deserve your wrath, nor of those who misguide themselves. Shukran ya Allah. Ameen.